Welcome back to the Foul Line. I'm your host as usual, Connor Black. With me as always, Wyatt Olson.
What's up?
And we are missing Wyatt home. Some things came up, but we do have a guest on the podcast, first-time guest with the new setup, Brayden Bingham. Welcome.
What's up?
Longtime friend, longtime Thunder supporter. That's great to have, especially with this guy over here being such a hater. No. Hey, if you follow him on Instagram, go follow. What's your Instagram? Go follow him. Check the story every day to see new Thunder hate at least twice a day.
No.
See the LeBron love. We hate it, but we love it. And he did post. What did he post? He posted something of Ant better than Shea.
Oh yeah.
You wanna go ahead and talk about that?
What?
Ant's better than Shea?
I think Ant is.
Yeah, one poster dunk. He's better than Shea.
I think Ant's been better than Shea.
Been?
Yes.
How long?
For about a year.
This whole year? He's been better than Shea.
Yes. Shea, I think Ant.
Shea has had a game under 10 points all year. You know how many games Anthony Edwards had?
Multiple. What's that?
Multiple.
I still think Ant.
Shea is better than any games under 30 points.
I think the two systems are different too. I think Ant is still just pound for pound better player.
That's ridiculous. Shea's obviously a better defender.
Yeah, Ant has a higher ceiling. Ant has more potential.
No, alright, we're just gonna move on. Anyways, we had a 100 subscriber giveaway from our last episode. Thank you for everybody who subscribed. We are up to 453 subscribers. And
Keep it going.
We appreciate the support more than anything. Never thought we would be that high.
Hell no.
But we do appreciate it. Appreciate the love. The 100 subscriber giveaway winner was Aldrin Browning. You're up for Aldrin. So yeah, we'll get you that shirt pretty soon. But just hopping right in here. Speaking of OKC, so much draft capital in the upcoming years. I mean, just the one trade with Paul George, they brought in over 20 picks, I believe, just in that span. So just thinking about it as a GM, or take out the fan aspect, as a GM, put yourself in Sam Presti's shoes. What are you doing in this upcoming draft? Just right now, you're the 1 seed, you have a chance to make a run. Don't even think about that, but what's your mind at in the upcoming draft?
What's yours?
So without where we're at now, without being the 1 seed, I think over the years, I feel like we've always added our picks together to get higher up.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is be able to get the highest player that we can get is add our draft picks up to get the highest spot, to trade those. So 3 draft picks, I think is what we looked at earlier.
Yeah.
So I think to trade the 3 draft picks to get a higher pick.
So we have the Rockets top 4 protected. The Rockets are, you said earlier, they're going to probably push out the Warriors for the play-in spot. Maybe. It's going to be hard without Sengun, but so if they get either way, I don't think they're going to have a top 4 pick.
No.
So the Thunder are probably going to have that. So anywhere between 5 and 10, probably realistically. So this draft isn't there's no clear number 1. Every day that I see a new draft board, I seen Reed Shepard at number 1 the other day. I haven't seen him, and then 2 weeks ago he was number 15. And then you'll have Sarr 1 week, and then you'll have Cody Williams the next. So if we were to move up to a top, let's just say 1 or 2 pick, realistically, who would we even take?
Right. If you had free will, who would you want? Just hands down, who would you want?
Based off
what the team needs, right?
I'm probably gonna take Sarr.
Would you take? What's the chances you would take Mozgov though?
Probably not high, because the G League Ignite, I don't trust the system. To be honest,
it's just been shut down.
Yeah, I don't trust it. Jalen Green was a crazy high school player, tons of potential. Probably should have went to college, if we're being honest, because he hasn't. I'm not saying he hasn't panned out. He's been great in the NBA, but he's very inconsistent. I think some of those inconsistencies are things that he could have learned in college, and he's not an amazing defender. And
just like a lack of immaturity.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, go ahead.
So would we rather trade the picks for a pick later or for a player?
I think we should either go for a big, or we should go for a top pick in the next draft and go ahead and just take Cooper Flagg. And who knows, maybe that's what Sam Presti is cooking up, because Cooper Flagg did reclass, so he won't be in this draft, he'll be in the next one. So if we take, let's say the Rockets pick is a 6th pick. We take that 6th pick. We take, I think they think the Jazz pick is gonna be like a 12th pick. They think it's gonna fall out. So a 12th pick, and then we had there was another one, our own pick.
Yeah.
And then there was another pick that we had. I think we had 4 total.
pick.
The Clippers
The
pick, which was probably going to be like a late 21st maybe. So you take, let's say, those 4 picks. You trade them to.
Would you trade him now or would you wait?
How are you going to wait?
You have to trade him before the draft.
You have to trade them before the upcoming draft.
I'm talking about before, like if you really wanted.
You mean before the season ends?
It's like for Cooper, yeah.
Well, we have to wait till the season's over. I mean,
Yeah.
the trade deadline's already
No,
passed.
I know that, but I'm saying like, what I'm trying to say is like, would you trade? Because you don't know what team's even going to have the top chance to even have number 1 for 2025.
What's what I'm saying?
I think you wait for the lottery.
I would wait till the lottery and then see where everything falls, and then make your moves then, and then because you know who's going to be the lower seed teams before the season starts. Like it's probably still going to be the Spurs unless they make a drastic move for a good point guard.
Detroit, like Washington.
Detroit, yeah, the Wizards, Hornets probably improve a little bit, but I still don't think they get out of the lottery this early.
What are the chances what are the chances they trade LaMelo?
Not high.
Don't think so?
I don't know. Because I think if he can stay healthy, they already said they're not bringing back Miles Bridges. I don't know why they wouldn't. He's star-studded talent next to LaMelo.
Just turned 26.
Just turned 26. Brandon Miller is definitely going to be a star in the league. They can definitely create they got Trey Man. He's playing great for them. Micic is even playing good. Poku has been on and off with them, but I think they could definitely build something. But I think I told somebody this the other day, like everybody's all for getting rid of Josh Giddey. I mean, he hasn't had a great season. We can all say that. Last year he was great. I mean, Josh Giddey had a real step up last year. It's the only reason we got past, not the only reason, but the second reason we got past the Pelicans in the play-in. Him and Shea had amazing games. And then, this year he's kind of crumbling, dealt with some outside stuff. I think that has affected the season a lot for him.
Really being, 21 years old?
Yeah.
That could probably take a lot of
21, 22, and then, but I think depending on how he performs in this year's playoffs, depends on what they,
What
do
they're
moving
doing.
forward. And, if he is the point guard that we need in the playoffs and he, performs like he did last year, great. Let's bring him back. But if he doesn't, I say we got to package him and some picks and bring in a big. And it could be a star big, maybe somebody, you mentioned Jaren Jackson, if Memphis is looking to go that way, even guys like Clint Capella, I wouldn't mind bringing a guy like Clint Capella in.
I wouldn't either.
No, he's not a great outside shooter, but he's a good defender. He's not a bad passer.
Look at that.
He's really good in pick and rolls, and Shea could thrive with. And J-Dub and Shed are really good in the pick and roll. So imagine another big being that dangerous.
That's where I get in trouble with Josh Giddey too. Is like we do these pick and rolls and then we kick to him, but he's not a shooter. Like I feel like we need to add like a shooting guard that can shoot.
Yeah, and the Thunder, this is actually one of their best shooting years they've had in a long time, because that's been the issue over the years. We've always had, a good big. We've always had Steven Adams, Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins. Brings back bad memories. But we've always had good bigs. We've always had solid point guards. We've always had from 1, skip 2, 3, 4, and 5. OKC's always been solid. That 2-guard position has been, the death of OKC since the beginning of time.
Cabo Cephalosha.
I mean, none of them were amazing 2s. Anthony Morrow was a great 2.
He just never got minutes. Just didn't get minutes.
Jeremy Lamb was a decent 2.
He's a demon in
Kevin Martin was a decent 2-3. But we haven't had a great 2-guard since, James Harden.
Right.
I mean, and now we have a guy like, we have Shea, Josh. Like, it's hard though because Shea needs the ball in his hands, so Josh Giddey falls to that 2-guard spot. It's hard to be a 2-guard when they're treating you like Ben Simmons.
Right.
I mean, they literally just back off at him, and he'll hit 2 or 3, but he's shooting like 7. So that's still like 40-something%, but wide open that's a bad percentage wide open. Like if you give any other NBA player 7 wide open shots, they're probably going to hit 6 or 7 of them. I mean, it's hard, and that's how teams beat us, because he's a liability, and he's not getting to the basket as much as he once was. Like He's really not doing anything besides being a decent off-ball defender and being a good passer. Baseline out of bounds, Josh Giddey. Hey, that's what he's there for. Baseline's out of bounds, that's what he's there. Sideline out of bounds, that's what he's there for. But yeah, so would you rather, would you keep the picks, draft? We can't realistically use all 4 picks because we don't have enough space. We don't have enough roster spots open.
Right.
So do you trade for a big or do you trade for the upcoming draft? If those are your options, what are you doing?
Just for a big, or can I trade just anyone that I want?
Well, I'm saying because we need to bring in a big. That's what that's a team need.
Right.
So if you could trade Josh Giddey and let's say the three first-round picks and keep one of them, and for a big, or trade him for a top pick in the next draft, potentially Cooper Flag. What are you doing?
So I would do my best to trade the 3 picks that are not the Utah pick, because the Utah pick is most likely going to not allow us to.
It has the lowest chance that we're not going to get.
Right, and we'll probably end up being 12 or 14 with that. So with that, I would, and with some mocks that I've seen, in that range, Donovan Clingan would be available for me.
And he's projected to go to us.
7'1", shot blocker, athletic finisher. I mean, I think he's young, fits the timeline. He'd be a cheap contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's that just logic makes the most sense to me. If you can get a veteran to add to a young one of the youngest team in the league, sure, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the smarter route, unless you could pull off a miracle for I know we wanted Laurie at the trade deadline. If you can land Laurie, do it.
I think the only issue with bringing in Donovan would be OKC's in a win now situation. I feel like if they don't.
I don't think he has to start immediately either.
No, but that's the thing. I think we need to bring somebody. That's why I think probably bringing in a vet is a better option, to have somebody who can start, because you can bring Kenrich and Jay Will off the bench, and you have those guys to back up your bench unit. And then obviously we're probably not gonna bring Biz back. No, I don't see it unless we absolutely have to. Is Gordon on an expiring deal? Yeah. So if we could bring him back, that would be great to keep that presence. And honestly, he would probably be a cheap contract.
Say, depending on how Giddey plays, if Gordon takes, just because they're on a minimum deal, would he start if Giddey's gone?
Depending on who we bring in.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are you trading for a big or a vet, or are you looking to the 2025 draft?
I think we trade for a vet. I think because we are the youngest team. Okay, so with that, all of our dudes we still need to learn.
Yeah.
So adding another one of those that we need to develop is going to take away from the people that we already have.
Yeah.
It's if we get a vet big man or a vet shooting guard like we just talked about,
Yeah.
those will only help Shea and Chet and J-Dub and all those guys. That's why I think we need the vet presence.
The thing is, if we bring in a big, I think you can almost start Lou Dort at your 2 and slide J-Dub to the 3, or vice versa. And those are 2 guys who had great shooting seasons this year.
Yeah.
So
you're both really good defensively. So
imagine a starting lineup that's just hypothetical of Shea, Lou Dort, J-Dub, Chet, and then a hypothetical veteran big. I mean, I don't want to see a Thunder lineup right now in the playoffs on any other team, but I can't imagine having a vet big. I think bringing Steven Adams back would be a great opportunity. No, he's not a threat from the outside, but that forces somebody, a pick and roll threat. That's also forces somebody because you have to guard Chet. He's going to shoot the ball. He's a good shooter. He's almost 50, 40, 90. I mean, you have to respect it. So if you have that inside threat and outside threat,
and then
there's nothing you can do.
Stevens been regarded as one of the strongest guys in the league.
Right. Because OKC has a real problem with rebounding.
Yes.
When Chet's not on the floor, we're a horrible rebounding team. And we seen it last year against the Pelicans in the play-in. Jonas Valanciunas abused the Thunder in the first half.
Yep.
Luckily, Kenrich stepped up in the second half. Or Kenrich was out. It was Jay Will stepped up in the second half. But that first half was bad. It was real bad. And Jonas would be somebody great to bring on to OKC. I would not be opposed
those kind of guys.
We need strong guys in the paint to get bored, and so that way Chet can play the 4. Not saying he can't play the 5.
He always played the 5. Yeah.
But having him at the 4, imagine that him matching up with the 4 is a lot. But the only thing that helps him at the 5 is ISOing on the outside.
Yeah.
Because he has guys like Rudy Gobert guarding him on the perimeter. He has guys like Joel Embiid's a good defender. Wemby's a good defender, but guys like Thomas Bryant guarding him on the guys like Bam. Bam's a good defender, but I feel like Chet gets by him when we've seen it again the other night. So bringing in that big will definitely help. But again, bringing in somebody like Cooper Flagg in 2025 is almost like a dream come true because we know he's going to be great. I mean,
he's got
just won Naismith Player of the Year. I mean,
undefeated in high school.
Yeah, and he's going to one of the most respected colleges of all time.
Yeah,
and he's going to get developed great. So
elite head coach.
I mean, no matter what Sam Presti does, I got full faith in him because he's built this team from 15 wins to now.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing to now. And the only move that I've ever disagreed with that he made was not giving James Harden the extension, the max. But obviously it worked out for the best in the end. And yeah, so I'm thinking we should just go for the big.
I think that's probably the smarter choice.
And then next year we combine.
And we still have 4 draft picks next year.
I don't think we need any draft picks for this year.
No. And if we do draft somebody like lower, like we keep that Clippers pick, there's a chance like Kyle Filipowski falls. He wouldn't be bad. He's kind of soft, but
not a traditional 5.
That's still somebody you can build up like Chet.
Right.
And that wouldn't be a bad pickup. And even if we did get that Jazz pick and we picked up Donovan, I'm still not opposed to that.
No.
Because we have some of the best developmental coaches in the league, I think. I mean, look at Chet, look at Dove. Even Jay Will has taken major steps this year.
Yeah.
Has a way better jump shot than he did last year, that's for sure.
I mean, look at Lou Dort shooting one.
Oh my goodness, he was like a horrible shooter last year.
Literally was just for defense.
If he couldn't shoot, like if he shot like he did last year and Giddey shooting like this year, we would be terrible.
There's no difference between like him and Tony Allen.
Yeah, I mean, that was horrible. Yeah, Dort was like hard to watch because he would come down and airball a 3 and then get a steal and then come down and shoot another one. I'm like, Dort, give the rock up. Like, what are you heat checking? You ain't got no heat. What are we doing? But I think OKC's on a great path. If people were saying they're pretenders in the playoffs, we've never seen this team in the playoffs besides in 2020 in the bubble. And I see so many Instagram comments, Shay's never been in the playoffs before, Dort's never been in the playoffs. Do people forget that they made a run to the 5th seed in that playoffs and took a good Rockets team to a Game 7? I mean,
with Chris Paul.
With a 35-year-old Chris Paul and Shea,
20-year-old Shea,
and Dort, like that wasn't a good team.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good team. Nobody expected Chris Paul to even suit up that year. And they made it work. So if that team can push a 5th seed and take a Rockets team like that to the 7 games, why can't this team make a run?
Right.
So obviously the league's changed a lot, but number 1 seed, if we're tied with Denver, we're gonna get it. So it doesn't matter. But we have a chance of pulling, the Kings in the first round, the Lakers.
It scares you.
Kings scare me because the Thunder do not do good against Sabonis. It's bad. Sabonis is a monster.
I feel like it's anybody that we used to have that we traded.
Yeah,
away.
they just always play
freaking
better.
kill us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Unless your name is Serge Ibaka.
hey, you got a ring.
Shoot.
But the Pelicans, I have a chance to knock off the Clippers as the 4th seed because I think they're tied up right now.
They've been playing amazing.
Yeah, and that's somebody I wouldn't want to see in the first round or second round
looks
either.
like Zion.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith got to quit running his mouth. Yeah.
I think they have the best role player in the NBA in Herb Jones. I think Trey Murphy's up there for
Trey
that
Murphy's
too.
nice.
They're both really. Herb's improved as a shooter too, and he's already
Great defender.
Yeah, and Trey's a better defender, and he's one of the best shooters in the league.
Yeah.
And they have
Dyson Daniels, nice.
Dyson Daniels, McCollum. They just have so.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most underrated moves that they had.
Oh yeah, bring in CJ. Yeah,
He
for
plays
sure.
point guard.
Yeah, for sure. That was such a not talked about enough deal that the Pelicans made, and bringing in Jonas as well. I mean, I think him and Steven Adams are pretty similar when it comes to bigs, but Jonas can step out and hit that corner 3. Something that Steven Adams probably needs to add to his game. Hey, what's going on? It's the Foul Line Crew. Today's video is sponsored by VFly. If you're an up-and-coming YouTuber and looking to get your channel and videos promoted, look no further than VFly.
A lot of sites want you to break the bank to help you promote, but on VFly you can spend as little as $10 and get 1K genuine views promoted through Google Ads. Choose what region you want them to be promoted in by country, and as a secondary option, you can bring in likes and subs.
And if you want to get the ball rolling faster, VFly does offer different packages starting at $249 from bulk views, silver play plaque, and monetization package. VFly has all the tools you need to get your channel off the ground. Use our link in the description to get started today for as little as $10 and get your YouTube journey going.
Now back to the video.
But another young team that's kind of almost not on purpose taking the Thunder path, but is kind of trending is the Grizzlies. And, with Ja, missing the first 25 games of the season, and he played, eight
or something.
8 games. Looked great in those 8 games.
Tears his labrum.
Because they won 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row with him, and then he tears his labrum out for the rest of the year. Jaren Jackson, on and off injuries. Desmond Bain, on and off injuries.
Marcus Smart, on and off.
On and off. And then Derrick Rose, on and off. I mean,
It's so weird.
they have the players to do it, to make a decent run this year. And, they just fell victim to bad luck, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they bring in guys like Gigi Jackson, who's been great this year.
Vincent Williams.
Yeah, Vincent Williams has been great this year.
It means Scottie Pippen Jr. has come off his play for them too.
What was the guy that tore his Achilles last year? Zaire Williams?
Zaire Williams.
Yeah, he was good.
And even like Brandon Clark isn't even playing
Yeah.
because he's still coming back from his Achilles.
That's who it was, Brandon Clark. Not
Yeah.
Zaire, yeah. Brandon Clark was great last year before the injury. And so what are some things that you kind of see with that? I know you kind of want to touch on that. So what are some things that you kind of see?
I know a lot of, with the bad luck the Grizzlies have faced this year, things like, just throw it away, don't even worry about this year. This year is more important than ever for Memphis because, obviously, all of your players, at least Bane, Jaren, and Ja, are theoretically all just entering their primes, right?
Yeah.
Marcus Smart, a little older, but we know what Marcus Smart
Elite
is.
defender.
A really good young head coach, Taylor Jenkins. And then you're going to get a top pick this year, most likely. So, and the guys that you've had to throw into the fire for reps this year, Gigi Jackson, Vincent Williams, Zaire Williams has been really good this year. Scottie Pippen Jr. has been signed to their active roster, has been really good for them. He's been kind of their Tyus Jones replacement.
Yeah.
There's got to be a silver lining for Grizzlies fans because you're going to be healthy next year, and your team is going to get a year older, more mature. Because you have to look at it. These veteran guys have to sit back and be like, you really can't change in a blink of an eye. We can go from contenders to we can't even play the game because we're hurt.
Yeah.
So, and you see these young guys have struggled. Like, these guys are getting thrown into the fire. Like, Gigi scored a career high against the Warriors last night, 35 points,
Yeah.
and he's only 20 years old.
And he was unheard of until this year.
Right. And then, like, the top recruit in high school, didn't do anything really in college, was a second-round pick, and now has made a resurgence, and they're going to have a bright future next year because these guys are already under contract. So you've already got, like, your reserve and your bench guys are set. You get your stars back, they can be easily a contender next year.
Yeah, I think the issue is just, we kind of talked about this, outside of the show, how, Jaren Jackson with Desmond Bain, Ja's number 1, Desmond Bain's number 2, then you got in the, kind of scoring list.
Yeah.
So with Desmond Bain being out and Ja being out, Jaren Jackson hasn't looked great. But like you said, he's never been the number 1 option.
No.
I do agree with that.
He was never number 1 in college either.
The pressure is there for him.
Yes.
But at the same time, as great as, he can be, and if your team is, he's gonna have to step up. He's gonna have to take that leap.
He does.
Because I touch on that Miami Heat game so much because Bam made Jaren Jackson look like he was a nobody in the league. 7 blocks on one player that you're guarding the whole game is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
especially as elite as Jaren Jackson can be. And I think that he's been an issue with them, in the playoffs against the Lakers. He was an issue. AD did basically the same thing as Bam. Made him look like nothing.
Yeah.
And then Ja with his off-court things, and then staying healthy. I think there's so many issues surrounding. They got rid of one issue, Dylan Brooks, because not saying he did anything wrong outside, but He definitely wasn't good for the locker room, I don't think.
No.
And they came out and said they didn't want him.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great, step away. But they're not trend. I mean, there's something going right, but again, it's gonna be hard to bet on a team like that.
I can see the hesitance, but I'm just saying, like, because of everything that has happened, the positives that have come out of it, I think that's something to hold on to and can really look on to the future for.
Yeah. So if you are the Grizzlies, would you even think about, trading Jaren Jackson?
It depends who for, because if you trade Jaren, you literally don't have a center on the roster. I think it just depends. He's only 26, 27 years old, I think, something like that, ballpark. So I think it just, if you could throw him on the block and just see what's out there, what's available, I just don't know what they get back would be worth it. If it was like, so would you rather? Somebody said on Twitter, it's like, would you rather have Jaren Jackson or DeAndre Ayton?
Oh, Jaren Jackson.
Right.
100%.
It's kind of like, because they both haven't taken that step yet that we thought they would.
Yeah, but DeAndre Ayton,
This isn't like he doesn't care at all.
he doesn't. I don't think he does. Like, it looks like he doesn't want to play basketball.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like with Jaren, it's like, what's it going to take for him to realize I can hang with these top sitters in the league. I just got to do it.
I think losing Steven Adams is another big thing.
I agree.
Like, he got hurt. I think they made the right move by trading because
Just the mentorship.
Yeah, but he was great for them. I mean, he was a big reason, that they competed with the Lakers because he's able to body up with Anthony Davis and
when you're 280 pounds and you're built like that,
7'1".
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah, and you lose it. I think the Rockets should definitely end up keeping him. I think they should.
I think he plays though. He's gonna be 29. He'll be 30 years
That's
old.
my thing. I think they're too young to keep him.
Yeah, but the thing is,
he'd
be a good bet to have. He'd be a good bet to have. He's great bet leadership. He's a great locker room guy. He still has plenty of years left in the league.
I agree. I just don't think he wants to play for them.
I agree, but I think he's gonna be like the Bertans was with us.
Yeah, man, that's a good point.
I can see that.
And he could probably go to somebody like OKC that needs a big like him.
Would be perfect.
Or he could go to Miami. That would be a great fit. Put him at the 5 and let Bam run the 4. That'd be a great fit. He definitely fits that Miami system perfectly. He has that, Heat culture.
Yeah, Jimmy would love to play with him.
Jimmy would love to have Steven Adams running through a brick wall for him. Yeah, that'd be a dangerous like just mentality duo. Not even just playing wise, but just I'd hate to go against that. But I mean, so if you're Memphis, are you're just riding it out?
I think this year you kind of just have to, because it's what you were dealt, the hand you were dealt. See what you got the rest of the year. If Gigi and Vincent Williams, these guys can keep taking another step forward with development, they'll be ahead of schedule.
But do you think with Ja coming back, everybody, getting healthy again, do you think that kind of slows their development, or do you think it kind of?
There's a chance, yes, but I also think because Ja has shown improvements as a leader and especially him, it's an underrated quality. Being a dad at a young age in the NBA matters because it makes you take a step back and it really makes you mature. I think it's going to do something. It's going to help Ja even more as he even just progresses in life. But I also think even when he comes back healthy, I don't think they'll have any problems fitting those guys back into the lineup.
Yeah.
Just because he plays unselfish, he loves passing the ball. So I don't really think it should matter.
So with Brandon Clark coming back from his Achilles injury next year,
that's the one I think they might.
Where does he kind of fit in with this? Gigi Jackson, Scottie Pippen Jr. kind of in those areas. Those are guys that are currently playing his minutes now.
So are they gonna do they move on from
Brandon Clark's been good.
Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson?
It depends on. Let's say if you trade Jaren Jackson, you just say hand the keys to Brandon. You use your full-time 5. Coming off of an Achilles injury. That's what I'm saying. So it's like he kind of might have to be the odd man out because he's going to be due for a contract extension.
And that's somebody and there's a lot of teams that can use a young big.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But coming off an Achilles, probably the worst injury there.
And he's a freak athlete too at his size.
I mean, we've seen one guy come back from Achilles injury and get better, and that's Kevin Durant. And no one expected him to even come back. No one expected him to be good when he not
80% of
nobody expected him to get better when he came back.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And he became a better player. sure, he kind of slowed down athletically. Now, he's not out there punching it like he was like every single possession, but he got better percentage-wise.
Not full of things.
Oh my,
Dead.
it's disgusting. But is Brandon Clark going to be able to recover? No, we can't answer that. We
He's
don't
only,
know.
Braden's like, what, 24, 25?
But we've seen young guys, have that Achilles injury.
True.
I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is a great point for that. I mean, he was never the same after he tore his Achilles. Klay Thompson, probably hasn't been the same since but he also had the ACL as well, but hasn't been the same since that injury. He had, one good year afterward, but has continued to slow down. He's obviously older than Brandon Clark, but it's just, we don't even Josh going to be the same. I mean,
I think Josh should be fine.
I'm just saying, you just never know.
Right.
And it's just bets you have to take. So, let's put yourself in the Grizzlies GM spot. Where are you going, Brandon Clark? And kind of, how do you move those guys around to make it work?
Brayden, I think, has got to be the odd man out, because I think if I am the GM, I don't know his name, but my starting five next year would be Ja, Desmond Bane, Gigi Jackson, probably would be Santi Aldama, and then Jaren. That's my starting.
He's been good.
Yeah, that's my starting five. And then your bench would have Scottie Pippen Jr., probably Vincent Williams.
They're probably not going to get somebody amazing back to Brandon Clark.
No,
I can imagine it's a pick deal.
Right. And even with the Grizzlies, have always had really good player development in systems.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys they have now are just out of the farm system that they have, and just brought them up, and they've just been playing them.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies have always been like a weird team. Like they'll have those stretches where they've never been able to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been a second round team, and I don't really see them. Changing anything in the near future. Like even with that roster next year, it's hard for me to say that team can win a championship.
I see it being just like the Mike Collins, Zach Randolph, that area.
Yeah,
they're going to be a good, hard fighting team that might take you to 6 or 7 games, but I don't think they're ever going to get over the hump.
I have a question. Tell me what the difference between Memphis right now, like with their farm system, just bringing guys that they can develop. What the Tampa Bay Rays always have really good pitching every year because of guys they just bring up out of their system. I think that's the kind of similarity. They just keep farming their own guys, and it just works for them. But the both teams have never getting over the hump. How far am I off at that? Because you're the baseball guy.
You're not very. I actually had this conversation with Buddy the other day. So players go to Tampa Bay to they're basically betting on themselves.
Yeah.
So when you go to Tampa Bay, you don't go for very long.
Yeah.
You go, you play your whatever years, you usually perform really well, and then that's when you get your major contract.
Right.
But they don't really they go and win, but they don't ever. They're not
win the big one.
Right.
They can't get over the hump.
Mm.
And I hope Memphis can figure it out.
Sure.
I want Josh to succeed. I'm not a giant fan of his because of just everything that's wrapped around with him. But I want them to succeed. I was disappointed when they lost to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to make that push that year. And it's almost like the same situation with the Kings. They just can't get over that hump. This talented roster, 2 years in a row, but just can't make that push. So what would it take for the Grizzlies to make that? Is it a mentality thing? Is it a roster thing? Is it a coach thing? What do you?
I think they need to add a bigger piece.
Probably, and that would probably.
Do you trade Desmond Bane?
No, I don't think you. I think you can keep Bane.
I think take the Celtics for example. I think you can use Bane as a Kristaps, as a 3. That makes sense. So it's Boston. It's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then Porzingis or Derek White.
Smart.
So for Memphis, it can be Ja, whoever you get, and then it can be.
Yeah, but it's just hard. It's gonna be hard for him to defend a 3 with his smaller wingspan and things like.
Well, they don't. He can stay there too.
Just run the 2.
I'm just saying he's gonna be the third option.
Yeah, that's true. But so in that, you're gonna have to bet on Brandon Clark because you're gonna have to move Jaren Jackson. So it's really
It's
a tough situation.
It is.
And but the thing is, I don't think they're going to make any moves.
No.
I think they're going to try to ride it out with the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best decision?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Arguable.
I don't think Ja and what that team has is going to be enough.
I think they're still too young right now.
So
I hate saying that because the Thunder team is even younger, but I think they can make a push. But I think the Thunder team all around.
The Thunder have more
Yeah,
the
Thunder definitely have more.
more depth. I think they have a better mentality
Right.
than the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, they call the Thunder an AAU team. If anybody's an AAU team, it is the Memphis Grizzlies. They seem like they don't care sometimes. Like they're kind of just out there to get some highlights and then go home.
So let me ask you this: let's say fully healthy,
Mm-hmm.
team for team, who's better, Memphis or New Orleans?
Fully healthy?
Yeah, fully healthy.
I'm probably gonna take New Orleans.
What about Sacramento?
Sacramento's a hard one because
I'm gonna take Sacramento.
I'm probably still going to take Sacramento. The only reason I say it's hard for me is because Harrison Barnes is very inconsistent. He's good when he's good because he's still a good 3-and-D guy in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's bad, he is
Really bad.
He's horrendous.
Really bad.
If he misses his first 3 shots of the game, you might as well put him on the bench because he's done after that. But you can say the same thing for Memphis because Jaren Jackson has also been very inconsistent. But I'm probably still going to take Sacramento because I think I have more faith in De'Aaron Fox.
Who's better, De'Aaron or Ja?
Right now?
Fully
Healthy right now?
Who's just better? I take Ja.
I'm going to say if we're
It's
looking
very close.
all
I think it's
around,
fair.
I'm
I think
taking-
they're very close to the same.
all
place.
around, I'm taking De'Aaron because I think I trust De'Aaron more as a defender than I do.
I agree with
So
you.
if I'm looking at all around, top to bottom, their stats, their like what they can do, I'm taking De'Aaron.
What about the Knicks?
You think who's better?
Yeah, the Knicks are
The Knicks. The Knicks, 100%.
Really? Do you
No,
think
fully-
about big,
wait,
by big,
wait, you
yeah.
say in the Kings or the Grizzlies?
No. Yeah, the fully healthy Knicks versus Grizzlies.
Oh, Knicks.
Really? Is it by a big margin?
Fully
Listen,
healthy?
I have never liked the Knicks.
No, me
But I actually started watching this year because I watched Jalen Brunson a little bit when he was in Dallas. And I really like his game, so I really started watching him. And that was a hooper.
Jalen Brunson is a bucket OG. Like it
Oh,
sucks
that trade for OG
It
was
sucks that he
huge.
hasn't been able to play recently.
Who's-
And Julius Randle has they're winning.
Yeah,
without
they're winning
Julius
without
Randle.
their 2 best players. It's literally just
Yeah, I'm taking
Brunson.
It's Brunson
And
and
he
Josh
was
Hart
sharp
played
for
48 minutes.
Josh Hart plays
48 minutes only had 13
Yeah.
points. Come on, Josh. He had a tough.
Like, they beat
that
the
corner
Cavs.
3 was tough though. He had Donovan Mitchell with the. That was tough. That was so tough.
That was very tough.
That was tough. Cavs are good too. Cavs are.
That's like the most surprising team this year for me is the
The
Cavs.
Cavs, yeah. But hey, that's a good comparison. Cavs and the Grizzlies. That's a hard choice for me.
I just say because I don't have much faith in Evan Mobley.
So I hate Evan Mobley.
He's terrible offensively.
But he's such a good defender.
It doesn't matter. He can't score.
But he's a good defender.
My thing is, yeah.
Would you rather have a guy, let's say, that scores 30 a night? Let's say 25. Scores 25 a night with not 20. Let's hit his centers. Let's say 20. Scores 20 a night with 10 boards and no blocks. No, let's say like one block, right? No blocks. Say no blocks.
Okay.
No stocks at all, right?
Okay.
Or a guy that averages like 8 to 10 points a game, 12 rebounds, but is going to get 2 to 3 blocks a game, maybe a steal and a half a game.
It sounds like you just
But-
named Cat with like Capella.
Who like
That's like Cat
What-
Gobert. So who would you rather have?
I'd still probably have Cat, I guess.
I think my thing is what who does he have? Because if
But he doesn't have to score.
right, I mean Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, DG,
Goodness gracious.
but those two guys, he doesn't. Even Don Malone, Evan doesn't have to score. Like his
No.
job is to go in and
Mitchell-
play defense.
Yeah, Mitchell, Garland, Okoro's been shooting.
Jared Allen has
Allen.
been great this year. He's never been bad.
No.
Like he is. I'd love to have him in OKC. I'd love to see that afro in an OKC jersey.
So you wear the same Kyrie threes every game.
Hey, doesn't matter. He's getting blocks. He's getting blocks, and he's gonna score. He's bad from the free throw line.
Back to the Memphis thing for you real quick. Okay?
Yeah.
So next year, look at it this way, okay? So if they keep them, are they better than the Nuggets?
No.
Because here's the thing, because basically
If they keep Jaren?
everybody in the West they always think that it's on top at the beginning of the year. I mean, Murray, MPJ, and Jokic, and Aaron Gordon. You gotta go through them.
Right.
So, is that lineup gonna compare to that lineup in a playoff series for them to be contenders.
Because you said Memphis is contenders with the health.
I think there's definitely a world where they could beat Memphis.
Because I mean,
Is there not a
2
world
years
where
ago,
they could-
Memphis was the 2 seed.
Right.
Like, kudos, that's crazy. No, I didn't
Right.
think they were going to hold it out.
Yeah.
So, top to bottom, Memphis, or, let's say, because I don't think this year, if Memphis is fully healthy, I don't think they would be a top 3 seed.
You don't?
I think they're a playing team this year. They're fully healthy.
What?
I'm
Playing team.
I'm saying, okay,
What?
listen. Just think about it. Number 1 seed, Grizzlies or OKC for the 1 seed.
Just to be the number 1 seed?
Like, I'm saying, like, that's what I'm going, because you
Here-
said,
Here's the way to put it.
yeah, so, look
OKC.
at OKC.
Are they gonna beat OKC?
If they were fully healthy,
Yeah.
I think they could definitely beat them in a 7-game series.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying if you were just looking
Like,
at
at
rosters
the
top
end
to
of the year.
bottom at the beginning of the year, top to bottom, who are you saying could be the number 1 seed?
Oh,
Who has a
Memphis.
better chance, Memphis or OKC?
Memphis.
Crazy. Nuggets or Memphis?
Nuggets.
Timberwolves or Memphis?
Timberwolves.
Clippers or Memphis?
Memphis.
Top to bottom roster,
Yes.
They got 4
fully
All-Stars.
healthy, top to bottom
I don't
roster.
trust Russ and James Harden.
Fully, but they have proved this regular season that they are a good team.
I can't trust them in the playoffs.
We're not talking.
We're not talking about
playoffs.
overall.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
listen, at the beginning of the year, okay,
You're
you print out all the Western
On
Conference
paper.
rosters.
On paper.
You look at all of these rosters, and you're going to rank them 1 through 15.
Yep.
Okay.
Who are you going to rank number 1? OKC or Memphis?
Based off, we're going
Based
off
off their
off
roster.
standings right now.
Yeah, we're going off
Okay,
standings.
let's just on paper, who's number 1 seed at the beginning of the season, just looking out on paper. Don't compare anybody. Who do you say?
Be Denver.
Okay, number
Okay.
2.
Probably Minnesota.
Number 3.
Probably Memphis.
Oh my god. 3?
Okay, so who's the 4 right now? LA?
LA.
Okay, so you're going to take Memphis over the Clippers, the Pelicans, and who's the 6? Dallas.
Dallas. No, it's Phoenix.
Either way.
Phoenix or Dallas.
Either
One
way.
of the 2. We'll say Phoenix.
I would rather have.
So hold on. If you're saying that, who's your 4? If you Memphis is at 3, you saying OKC's 4 just on paper?
Probably, yeah.
Top to bottom, you just said that OKC had more depth than Memphis. So top to bottom on
You
paper.
said, but like at the beginning
But
of the
top
year.
to bottom on, we just said top to bottom on paper. You said OKC has more depth. So what is on paper telling you that
Memphis is
that
gonna be
Memphis is
better
gonna
than
be better
OKC.
than OKC?
Nobody on the. I don't think any. Is Desmond Bain better than J Dub right now?
No.
Mm.
J-Dub is leading the league in 4th quarter shooting percentage.
All over. J-Dub's our closer. All
Is
over.
he actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, he,
J-Dub's
like,
crazy.
he is leading the league in 4th
I don't know how many
quarter.
Thunder games. I know you've been to a lot this year, but I don't know how many you
No.
actually watch when you don't go. But
Not many.
J-Dub is our closer.
Listen, so
Like,
the way it goes is like we're starting 5, okay? J-Dub and Shet and somebody else comes out. Shea stays on the court the whole 1st quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then J-Dub comes in.
Yes.
And then it's the same thing in the 3rd. And then in the start of the 4th, it's J-Dub until there's like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then it's basically a closing line.
Right.
Yeah, J-Dub is the closer, because even the game that, even the Clippers game, like obviously, they were up, but he was he pushed them that run in the 4th quarter.
Mhm.
Like he was tough midi after tough midi. I mean, we've seen it almost a lot of games this year. Like he is a phenomenal closer. So, but back to the question, like on paper, who is like how like I'm just confused on why Memphis.
On paper,
Let's just go down the rosters. Shea or John.
Shea.
Okay, obviously Josh Giddey, Desmond Bain. I'm taking Desmond Bain. So then you got Lou Dort, and then
Who's their 3?
who started for them? Who would because he probably wouldn't be starting for them at the beginning of the season.
Probably not.
It'd probably be
Marcus Smart.
Mark. Ooh, I forgot.
I mean, that probably was their plan.
It's
was to start
probably
three
Ja,
guys.
Marcus, and Desmond. So
Yeah.
Marcus or Jada.
Probably J Dub.
Okay, and then our 4s. Who do you?
J Dub's our 4.
Jada's our 4. 3 Dort. Sorry, Dort
Dort.
or Marcus Smart.
Dort.
Okay.
Was debatable. I'd take Dort.
Okay.
He's
And
fits,
then
he fits better.
J-Dub or it'd probably be Brandon Clark. So J-Dub or Jaren.
Probably J Dub. If it's Brandon Clark, I'll take J Dub.
Okay, and then Chet or Jaren.
Obviously, as great as Chet has been this year, I would.
I'm going to argue this point to the.
No, it's just hard.
Okay.
I would take Chet.
Okay,
Take Chet.
okay. So that's
4 out of 5
Here's
starting
the-
lineup that you chose OKC.
I didn't know that at the beginning of the year.
That was the question.
That's the
That was the
question.
question.
That's the question you
That was the
asked
question
me.
we just asked you about who would be
I mean,
who's
it's
better.
on 2 different points.
Okay, so let's change the question. If you're saying that they're going to be fully healthy, okay, who would you take out of the top 6 now? Because I said they were going to be a play-in team. You didn't.
Yeah, who you take out the top
Who are
6?
you going to take out of the top
Memphis
6 now? And that's going to be a play-in
in. Put
team.
Memphis in. Who you taking out?
Orioles.
Out of 4?
They're the 4 seed right now.
Out of those top 6 teams, you're taking out take out the
Or
4
it'd be,
seed.
no. It'd be them, or it'd be, who's 5? 5 is New Orleans right now.
They're tied with the Clippers. So
Probably Phoenix.
So here's my argument to that, okay?
Top to bottom, who's
Who's
better?
top to bottom? Because they have 3 All-Stars.
Phoenix has like no bench.
But top to
Well, here's the thing. Here's the NBA way, okay? Like, the Mavericks do it. Everybody does it. The bench doesn't, like, the bench, there's only 2 or 3 players. Like, there's very rarely 5
Most
players
teams
on the
go
team.
AD.
So, like, the
7 AD.
Thunder, like what I just said, like, it's Shea, J-Dub, and then Shea comes off and J-Dub and a couple bench players.
Honestly, the Thunder.
So, in Phoenix, do
Yeah.
you think, whatever way they do it, KD, Booker, and Bill, okay, whichever one goes off, you still have KD or Booker
with Grayson Allen.
with Grayson Allen
With,
and a couple of bench players.
Yeah, Eric Gordon.
You still think Memphis is...
Maybe they're not that. Maybe they're not as top.
Memphis is very top heavy.
That's what I'm saying. Like the West is really good this year. Like once you get past Phoenix, like Phoenix has had it rough,
Okay.
but they've had injuries.
With the being consistent, do you think Memphis would be consistent enough to be a top 3 seed?
I don't see why they wouldn't.
But I'm asking, if you are just looking at it, are you saying that they can keep up with the Nuggets?
Probably not with the Nuggets. No.
Injuries off. Injuries off.
But the Nuggets couldn't they've been a 3 seed most of the year. The Nuggets have. I mean, the Minnesota and OKC have been the solidified 1 and 2 seeds all the way up until the cat injury. So, if you're saying they can keep up with the Nuggets, who are the 3 seed all year, how are they going to keep up with the number 1 defensive team in the league? How are they going to keep up with another really good defensive team in OKC and a really good offensive team? If they can't keep up with the 3 seed Nuggets, how are they going to keep up with the 1 and 2 seed Minnesota and OKC?
The West.
The
The West feasts on it. The West eats itself alive every year.
That's true, but the 1 through 3 has been pretty solidified, and I cannot say that Memphis could bust that up.
I don't think there's just an overwhelming chance that they just don't do anything.
I think they're a 6 or a play-in team. I don't think they're top 5.
They're not. They're definitely not busting into the top 3.
That's for dang sure. I mean, the top 3.
Okay,
Sure.
I'll give you that. But I would take it as the top 6.
I'm just saying.
So you're saying they're going to be? You're saying you think 5 or 6 now?
Yeah.
4 through 6. So,
4 through 6.
4 through 6 is easily realistic for a healthy Memphis team.
Okay, I can swing that.
Okay.
But
I
earlier,
still think
earlier
play-in
you said, but like I
They were
said, beating out OKC. That's what I
But
was.
like I said, they can beat anybody in the league.
I'm just saying the Nuggets are probably the best, besides the Celtics in the West. The Nuggets are the best all-around team, probably. Top to bottom, best all-around team. And
Which is crazy because the Thunder are 2-1 against them this year.
yeah, Thunder, 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 against them. So that's what I'm saying. It's hard for me to say Memphis can come in and bust that up because
I went to that one game where they lost. That was a slaughter.
they got blown out.
Yeah, that was one loss.
They took
earlier in the year.
They took that personally because they didn't let them. Because that one game they beat the Nuggets by like 28, and Chad had a really good game that game.
So we're gonna agree on 4 through 6.
Yeah, 4 through.
I'm cool.
4 through 15.
I still think playing.
4 through 15.
It's hard for me to put their
That's
full,
the rest of the league.
their full roster right now. Okay, their full roster against above Phoenix, above the Mavs because Luka's unreal,
Yeah.
and the Pelicans. I mean, they're just I feel like they got a bunch of role players with Zion with them.
If you did a redraft of the 2019 draft, are you still taking Zion number 1 overall? Over Ja, still.
Oh man, I don't know.
Because you can't say injury because they're both
Right.
both had bad injuries.
What would you do?
I'm probably still gonna. from the Pelican
What would you do?
standpoint,
I want to know what you do.
from the Pelican standpoint, I'm probably still taking Zion.
Zion or Ja?
Yeah.
If you based off how their careers are playing right now, redraft of 2019.
For the Pelicans and for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, I think it stays the same.
I
I think it fits the identity. I mean, the Pelicans have always had a big like Anthony Davis. Okay, like
Marcus
Zion,
Cousins,
the
yeah.
market like Zion doesn't fit like they both like Memphis has had what Zach
Zach
Randolph.
Randolph, Marcus Gasol.
Like that's all. That's the only bigs they've had.
Solidified big, yeah.
Okay.
Now RJ Barrett definitely not going number 3.
He's been really good this
So the
year.
2019 draft, Shea was in that draft. That was Shea's draft, right? Or was he 2018?
No, he was 2018.
Shea was 29.
No, he was 2018.
Yeah. So if you did a redraft of 2018, which was
He was drafted the same
the
year as Tyler.
wait, who was number 1 pick in 2018 draft? I'm blanking on that.
2018?
2018, number 1 pick. Ben, not Ben. Mark.
I'm about to look it up.
Who was number 1 pick?
2017 was Markel.
Yeah, 2016 was Ben.
2018 was. Why am I blanking?
Why am I blanking on 2018 draft?
What the hell?
DeAndre Ayton.
Luka, Jaren Jackson.
Okay, yeah, that's
Trae
the
Young.
Marvin Bagley. They took Marvin. This Kings took Marvin Bagley over Luke. So if you did a read, so that was the Shea. That Shea, yeah, Shea was in that.
Shea
draft.
was 11.
So if you're redrafting that, is Shea going number 1
Shay's number 2.
based off how his career went?
Shay's number 2.
Shade over is Luka.
I'm just asking. Yeah, that's
I think it goes Luka, Shea.
Yeah. Okay, and
And
then
it,
follow who's 3?
Trey.
Trae Young. 3.
Trae.
Who else? Was Scotty Barnes in that draft?
No.
No. Scotty Barnes is in. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 20.
And then it's like, I mean, you got like Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. Okay. The Sixers fumbled on trading him to Phoenix. That
Colin
was.
Sexton.
Mm.
Michael Porter Jr.
MPJ goes top 5.
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen
Does
Brunson.
MPJ get drafted over Jalen Brunson?
No. MPJ's on number 1
Mo
option.
Bamba.
Probably can
Mo
be on a
Bamba
bad
was in
team.
that draft.
What a bust.
So bad.
What a bust.
He never really got a chance though, because he was unhealthy.
And
You know,
Cody Simon.
you know what I'd love to have on OKC? Speaking,
So
because he named Mo Bamba. Speaking of the Magic, you know who I'd love to have? Jonathan Isaac. I would.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have Jonathan
He
Isaac.
probably will come over here for nothing.
Defensive menace, and he was
6'11".
Oklahoma. He would love Oklahoma. The way his views are, he'd love Oklahoma.
Canceled. The show's
Sit
canceled.
right in.
Me in trouble.
I didn't say nothing bad. I'm just saying based off his views, he would love Oklahoma.
Hollywood.
But yeah, I think Memphis can set themselves up to be good, and they have trade value. They have Desmond Bain, they have Jaren Jackson, they have Brandon Clark. You know, those are guys that are going to can bring in some potential help.
Assets.
Yeah, so I think they'll do good. You know, some other teams that made trades that that looked good on paper in the offseason. They didn't start out great in the first half of the year. You know, Giannis and Dame. Kind of where do you think they're heading?
I
Because
think
Milwaukee's the 2 seed, right?
before we get started off, them firing that coach is stupid.
Oh, ridiculous.
I mean,
They were- what was
I
his record?
understand it on the defensive
It was like
side.
32 and like 15 or something like that.
I think
You know, it was better than that.
I thought it was like 27 and like 10 or something.
They hadn't even
like
lost. No, they hadn't even lost double-digit games yet.
that. Yeah.
They were number 2 in the East.
They didn't have Chris Middleton either. And they just lost. They lost to Boston last
Man,
night.
but Chris Middleton has been so bad.
Here's the only reason they did it is because they were like 28th in defensive efficiency.
Right.
Well, at that point, just hire a defensive assistant coach. You ain't got to fire the dude.
Honestly, Doc Rivers probably would have came in as an assistant coach. If we're
Yeah, you
being
didn't
real.
have to fire him
Because he was a broad. Nobody wanted to listen to Doc Rivers on a broadcast. Nobody wants to listen to Cookie
pretty bad.
Monster.
Pretty bad.
He sounds horrible.
Or he sucked.
He's pretty bad.
Or hey, Austin Rivers is horrible. I hate listening to Austin Rivers.
Really?
He just says some things. I'm just like
He does. He does.
If I'm gonna listen to anybody on a broadcast, give me JJ Redick, give me Richard Jefferson, give me Mike Green. That's my lineup for a broadcast.
Those three?
Have you not heard them together?
Yes, I
You said
did.
JJ Redick?
Yeah, JJ, Richard
JJ is
Jefferson,
like one of
and
the
Mike
best
Green.
guys.
Because you're gonna have
JJ Ryder talking about basketball.
Because you're gonna have, excuse me, you're gonna have JJ and Richard Jefferson over there cracking jokes, and it's gonna be clutch time. Then you're gonna get a bang call from Mike Green. I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay. but
Mike Green to go.
yeah, Giannis and Dame, like, where are they trending towards right now? Are they trending towards ring territory?
Yes, they just lost to Boston. They just got Chris Middleton back from his ankle injury.
But
He just got back
I'm just saying, because his first bad injury was what, 2 or 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Who's their 4?
Brook Lopez.
Either Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby or
Honestly, I think I would
Lee.
say Giannis is our 4, and Brook and Bobby switch out of the 5.
Did you mean fourth option or
No. Like, I mean, their starting 5 is Dame,
Giannis is their
Chris.
4.
No, it's Dame, Malik Beasley, Chris,
Giannis, and then
Brooke.
Brook and Bobby.
Okay, and then off the bench they have 2.
Bobby
Portis,
Portis, Patrick Beverly,
Pat Connaughton.
Pat Connaughton. There's one more person.
And they played the Andre Jackson.
Andre Jackson. What's that? Bojan?
Marshawn Bojan.
That he has a
Just
lot of
doesn't
potential.
He gets no minutes.
Who was that guy that had that crazy putback dunk for the other night against the
That was
King?
Andre.
Oh my goodness, his head.
Have you ever seen his
neck
Have you ever seen his high score highlight tape?
No, I didn't even know who he was until that game.
Please go, if you haven't looked it up, please go look up Andre Jackson's high school highlight tape. He's 6'9", and the way he cocks his arm back to throw it down, the amount of power the dude throws on it is freaking ridiculous.
Disgusting.
It's
That
he
putback
throws
dunk
it
was-
so hard.
Putback dunk was one of the nasty putback dunks I've
Literally
seen.
half his head was above the
Yeah, it
rim.
was bad. It was disgusting. But come playoff time, are the Bucks realistically deep enough to
I think they
make
are.
a run?
Absolutely think they are.
I think it's.
I think when does Joel come back?
He's not coming back.
Probably not coming.
Okay, so I think the Eastern Conference then is between 2
So-
teams,
so-
Boston and Milwaukee.
It's hard for me to say that because no. Listen, hear me out. The East, obviously isn't as close as the West by any means.
Patron America.
But think about it. Like everybody thought there was just 2 teams last year. Miami made a push as an 8 seed
True.
all the way to the finals.
True, I'll give you that.
And Miami
They
had
lost
a good game last night. Terry Rozier looked amazing. Back-to-back step-back threes.
That's another
to,
trade.
to clutch the game. And Kevin Love and Tyler are still not playing.
Mhm.
Like you can't ever count Miami out.
No.
And the thing is, there's just random teams that can make it, like the Cavs. The Cavs can make a push. The Knicks can make a push. The Nets can even try to pull something out. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm saying
They could.
like there's just a lot of options. But I think on paper, Bucks and Celtics are the obvious 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But
Something crazy. I think something crazy.
scoring wise, off the bench, you can't trust Patrick Beverly to lead your bench unit.
That's the only downside to Milwaukee. They don't have a scorer off the bench.
I mean, yeah,
It's like Grayson Allen, though.
Pat Connaughton,
Has his moments.
and then Bobby Portis has been playing really good this
That's
year.
really your only option. Off the bench is
They do the
Bobby
same
Portis.
thing that OKC does, where Dame stays
Yeah.
on and plays, and then
And Dame has been great second half. He was good the first half of the season, but he has been great the second half
After
of the
that
season.
All-Star performance, he
Yeah.
just took
Somebody
off.
who fell after the All-Star weekend is Tyrese Haliburton. He has been in a horrible slump.
He fell off before All-Star weekend. He had that.
He had a good
He
All-Star
tried to
game,
play
though.
through the injury.
Yeah.
And he had the good in-season tournament run, and then after that.
Well, it's because the new
Great
65 game minimum rule. He wants to make All-NBA to get that bonus. Great, but you can't blame the rule because the rule is in place for that reason.
Question: What did you make of his comments about him saying he was just a prop?
I think all NBA players probably agree with that. I sports bet. I've taken the over on Tyrese Haliburton rebounds before it hit. Every NBA player is a prop to me. I don't care. I'm not gonna be a crazy fan.
Hey, my favorite bet right now, his is under on his points because he ain't been scoring.
He was 1 for
Oh.
13 the other night. Of
Yeah.
course, I've been hitting the under.
Still had that's
Jordan Poole for like 2 weeks straight.
under.
I won so much off
Jordan
that.
Poole off the bench, that 6-game stretch, I was hitting the over though.
It's still Tyrese still has the best pass I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
The off the backboard in the next game.
Ever?
Yes, that's
Ever?
That's the greatest pass I've ever
You
seen. in my life.
use ever really easily.
Every pass you've ever seen in your whole
That's the
entire
best
life.
pass I've ever seen in my life. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
He throws it off the backboard from the 3-point line and then throws it to the opposite corner.
I did it during a pickup game. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. There wasn't.
You're not him though.
Nobody
You're
cared.
not him though.
I'm off the backboard to himself, passes the corner. That's
What
the
was
greatest pass
who
you've ever
did
seen in
it in an
your life.
All-Star game off the elbow?
Tyrese.
Yeah. Okay. Now if it's real game, I could say that's up there, but off the.
I'm taking the Russell Westbrook Raptors pass full
Through the
court
legs.
between the legs to Cody Victor.
He didn't have anybody in between him, did he? Tyrese?
Tyrese.
Yeah, but he was going to take the three, realized that the closeout came earlier than he expected, and he's like, oh, well, I'm in trouble. I'm in midair. Let me throw it up the backboard.
The LeBron pass where he went is better than the Tyrese pass. And I'm not a LeBron fan.
I don't think that pass is anything close
Is
to
it like-
Tyrese's.
Come on.
That one?
Deontay Zizic.
It don't matter. It's still a good pass. Faked out two Lakers, yeah.
Lakers.
Yeah. That pass is better than the off the backboard to the corner.
So your hot take wasn't really good.
That's just my opinion. I think that's the best pass I've
Bad
ever seen in
opinion.
my life.
Ever in your life?
Yes.
Speaking-
Just next topic.
Speaking of hot takes, I was snapping him earlier and I was scrolling up and at the beginning of the year he was like asking hot takes for the foul line. And my hot take was the Thunder were going to be a top 6 seed in the league this year.
Hey,
You know, hit on that one.
You owe Gabe $20, right?
I do know what I do.
You know what he said at the beginning of the year? This is his hot take. He said Thunder ain't gonna win more than 40 games. We won 40 last year, and we brought in
You
our
thought we got
number
worse?
2, and we brought in our number 2
I
pick. Chet.
thought we would just have a fall off here, but I was wrong.
How are we gonna fall off? We bring Chet back. J-Dub gets better. Shea gets better. We have a good draft.
Do we think
pick.
Casey Wallace is a first rookie team?
I
Or
don't
second?
think he's played enough. I don't think he gets enough
Second,
minutes to
probably
be
second
first team.
team.
First team locks for sure.
Whatever
Obviously,
you shoot.
is gonna. I
Chet
think
and
first
Wemby.
team locks is
And the
Chet,
Hawkes
Wemby,
dude.
Hawkes, and Brandon Miller. Those are first
Who's the
team
fifth?
locks. Fifth.
That's what I was saying. Like
I saw her not anymore.
Yeah, no more.
Amen didn't play enough this year.
They didn't play enough.
I'm trying to think.
Whitmore ain't played enough.
I'm trying to think of the rookie of the year rankings right now.
What about
Not gonna be Scoot, that's for sure.
No.
what about Bajinski?
Yeah, I can see him making first team.
What about Bajinski? He's been
Yeah, because
awesome.
he's played good when Chris Paul was out.
He's been awesome.
yeah, he'll get first.
Yeah, I think that's.
That's probably
I
fine.
just had to think of somebody.
I think Casey will be second team. Probably him.
If Asar was healthy, I'd probably
I
say
bet
Asar.
Min probably make. Well, has he played 65 games? Did Min play 65 games?
No idea.
I don't think
No
so.
idea.
Casey will definitely make second team.
Asar might have.
Yeah, he probably still pulls it out. Second team. I just don't give him first team because he's not going to play the last 50 games of the season.
19 years old and you got a blood clot in your lung.
Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh had like 4 though. That was bad.
He did. He almost died.
I think with modern medicine, the star probably end up being fine. Because Chris Bosh's blood clots were like in his heart, so
Yeah.
it's a little different. But I don't think the Bucks are going to win it all this year.
I don't think so either. I still think it's going to be the Nuggets.
Well, I'm not even talking about the West. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just coming out of the East. If the Bucks pull it out, great. I'd love to see Dame get his first ring in Milwaukee and Giannis get his second ring. But I'm not trusting Chris Middleton right now. He's been injured, but even when he comes back from injuries, he hasn't been the same since that year they made the finals run. Malik Beasley has been really good, great shooter, way better than he was when he played for LA. Don't know what happened.
I just don't think they have enough pieces.
Their bench unit isn't enough.
Like you said, having only 8, most teams only go down to 8 or 9 guys.
Well, like, even just thinking about the Thunder bench compared to any bench, really. I mean, Thunder has, a good shooter in Isaiah Joe. You got,
Kenrich is a small ball.
you have another scorer, another good defender / scorer in Kenrich. Gordon Hayward, who can Casey Wallace, who can go score, an amazing defender. Gordon Hayward, who was averaging 15 a night before he came to OKC, who could easily do that probably any given night, but it's just not in the system
You
anymore.
could legit go 5 deep off the Thunder bench.
And then Jay Will.
And then Jay Will.
You can go 5 deep.
Or you could even, if you wanted to, you could switch one of them out and just, if you wanted to go young, just put Guzman in there.
And then you also, you have Bismack, who's a good defender. Like that's something that Milwaukee has a lot of vets. That's what they're relying on.
Jay Crowder too.
I can't bet on him.
Inconsistent.
I cannot bet on him.
I like Jay Crowder.
Now from the Eastern Conference side, like looking at it, like Boston's bench is like I think their bench is
Top to
better.
bottom, Boston is the best.
They got the best starting 5 and they got the better bench.
I mean, that starting line is insane.
Sam Hauser, best role player in the league.
I can't believe White said that. Yeah, he ain't here, but he said Sam Hauser is the best role player in the league. Sam Hauser.
Statue that just shoots threes.
Yeah, they did. 32 the other night though. almost broke the record for threes or for a Celtics record. I don't care. One good guy, I don't care.
Probably a good thing he ain't here, else he probably would have brought that up.
I can't stand Sam Hauser. I can't stand most of the players on the Celtics bench.
Derek White.
He is starting.
I know, but I'm deciding he's just overrated.
I don't think so. I'm not saying he should have made the All-Star team like they were saying. I don't agree with that.
I did not agree with that.
Hell no. They was crazy for saying that. But he has been really good this year. That's what I'm saying. The Celtics don't win it. I don't even want to get into that again because, man, that was ridiculous. But the Celtics, they don't win it all. Oh my gosh. The media is going to be in a frenzy. I'm going to be in a frenzy. But, you know, people like Wyatt talk about Jason Tatum being an upcoming MVP in the league, maybe MVP this year. People have said, you know, best player on the best team in the league. Not even before we get into upcoming MVPs, should the MVP be judged like that, going to the best player on the best team? Because we've seen in past years where that's happened. You know, it goes to the best player on the number one seed. We've seen it happen before.
I was telling him this earlier. I think because I looked up the stats for two people that their team's records whenever they're not on the floor or whenever they don't play.
Mm-hmm.
They've only missed one game, so it didn't really matter. So
Yeah.
MVP, it should be the most valuable player in the entire league.
Yeah.
Like if you take that dude off the court, their team should be the same team. So like with the Celtics, if you take Jason Tatum off the court, sure they lose some,
They're still,
but they're still pretty dang good.
That's still a contending team.
No, I'm not saying like that's not Tatum's fault.
Yeah.
But because they put together a heck of a roster. But I mean, he doesn't have to go out and get like Shea. Are we doing the MVPs already?
Yeah.
Like Shea, for example, this year. I mean, dude, if he has to score 31 every night for us to have a chance to win.
31 every night.
Every night. And I mean, and like Luka, people say the Mavericks team is bad without him. Kyrie scores over 30 points every single time the Mavericks don't have Luka. And in those games, and he's like the other night against OKC, he had 34, 36, something like that, and they almost won.
Yeah.
Like they're still competing with good teams without Luka. And honestly, Luka isn't a good defender. We know that. He's not a good defender.
No.
So not having him on the floor, honestly, probably makes things easier for them on the defensive end because
Derek Jones in his squad.
exactly, yeah. But MVP, like you said, MVP is the most valuable player. So like, I think Joel Embiid, made sense. Without him, they're not doing great. Look at them. They have fallen from the 2 or 3 seed to the 5th or 6th seed. That's most valuable player. The Nuggets, without Jokic, they still win games because Murray steps up. MPJ steps up. They all step up. They lose some, but they're still winning. They still can keep their spot. The Celtics, top to bottom, without Jason Tatum, they can still win games. They've done it all year when he's out. And then they've lost games with him shooting horribly. I sent that thing to the group chat a couple days ago where he literally has put up tour dates in some games, like 7 for 21 in some games. That's horrible shooting. I don't think Shea's had a shooting game like that all year, besides the game against the Nuggets where they got blown out. He didn't have a good shooting night.
But really nobody did. And he didn't play that much. He lost like 40.
But it wasn't that bad. And then, so looking at it, if you're, let's say we're the media and we get a vote in the MVP race, like right now, who, based off how it should be judged, who's your most valuable player in the league?
As much as
Not even looking at NBA rankings, but just based off what you think.
I
No
know
bias.
A couple weeks ago I said Luka. I would probably have to go Shea.
Why?
Just it's the most sense without also being the most controversial, and I think it's the easiest. I think it's the smarter pick.
I think the easy pick is Jokic.
I'm going to agree with you on Shea. I think Shea's the best player. I think he's the MVP.
On the youngest team in the league.
I think Shea's MVP, but I'm saying the easy pick for the media is Jokic.
It is Jokic.
Here's my problem with Jokic, is if you watch that dude play, he looks freaking bored.
It's too easy for him.
Right. It's just easy for him.
And the thing is, he put up the same numbers 3 years in a row.
Right. And here's the thing with,
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
What is supposed to
There's nothing
do?
wrong with that, but Shea has consistently gotten better every single year.
Mhm.
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But Jokic is what, 29?
Yeah.
He kind of plateaued the last 3 years. Like, he's great, but he's
I
not.
just don't know what else is he supposed to, like, how much work can he really do?
He's not a bad defender, but he's not a good
No.
defender. Most valuable player, I think, should go to both sides of the ball.
And I'm pretty sure Shea's top 3 in steals.
He leads the league in
in
steals,
steals.
and I think he might lead the league in blocks for guards. It might be him. I don't know. Last year it was close between him and Derek White, but Shea should have made first team all defense last year. He should have made an all defense team in general last year. Is gonna make first team this year. If he doesn't, there's something going. Him and Lou Dort, even J-Dub, could all 3 make a defensive team this year. You could even throw Casey Wallace in there.
Shit should be all defense.
We have 5 potential all defensive players, and we have a guy off the bench that takes crazy amount of charges. I mean,
Hey, we have an award that's they call it the J. Will Award.
Yeah.
Or no, the Kenrich Award.
Kenrich Award, because he took a crazy amount of charges like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But Jay Will won it last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But most valuable wise, like you said, youngest team in the league. We haven't really gotten to see a game without Shea on the court. But we have enough games.
It's like
to
one
judge it.
game, and I think we're 0-1 or something.
Yeah.
It was the Warriors game. I went to that game because Dort was going crazy with.
That was the
Play
goal.
game.
The goaltend game.
He was going shot for shot with Steph Curry.
I mean, Shea is good on both sides of the ball. Like when he's not on the court, you can see a change in like attitude and a change in compassion, I guess you could say, when he's not on the floor. Like the Thunder don't look bad, but it's definitely not the same.
No. Well, here's the other thing I look at. So like Shea's majority of the NBA is layups and threes.
Yeah.
Shea is like the opposite and relies on mid-range and free throws.
Yeah.
So like if you look at that, his shooting percentage for his game isn't bad.
No.
But when you look at Jokic, his shooting percentage may be higher, but he doesn't take those mid-range shots.
He's
Everything
taking
his
a lot
is in
of
the paint.
He's taking a lot of inside shots. He'll step out and take maybe 2 threes a game, if that. Yeah. But and also with Shea, people.
Let me make the 360 one-legged.
It's always against Anthony Davis. I feel like it's only against the Lakers that I see him do that.
Sure.
Just saying. But I think with Shea, people try to label him as a free throw merchant. He leads the league in drives.
Yeah.
Luka averages more free throws a game, free throw attempts than Shea does.
I would like to know. I had to look it up. I want to know who has more drives a game. James Harden the year he won MVP or Shea this year?
It's
I
probably
think it's
close.
Shea.
But Shea leads the league in drives, so of course he's gonna
What
get
do you
more
count?
foul
What do they
calls.
count as a drive? Like when both feet are in the lane or what? What do they count?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm curious now.
But I know he leads the league in them.
Right.
And so if you go to the basket more, obviously you're gonna get fouled.
Get fouled.
And like I said in the last episode, does he sell sometimes?
Every
Yes.
NBA player does that.
Name an NBA player that doesn't.
Yeah.
I could name 10 NBA players that oversell more than Shea does. LeBron. I mean, like Shea drives to the lane. You can't tell. You go watch the Mavericks game. Every time he had Daniel Gafford on him or Derrick Jones Jr., he was going. He took 2 dribbles in, pump fake, gets him in the air. They're in his space. He's not leaning in and drawing contact. He's going straight up into them, hitting them, and still hitting the shot.
And like that's what people are complaining about is
Those are fouls.
It's your own team's fault for jumping on the pump thing. If you don't jump on the pump thing, then it's not a foul.
Those are fouls. Like I'm saying, does he drive sometimes and use the head fake? Yeah, but that guy's also not in guarding position. So he's playing to the rules. You can't blame a guy playing to the rules in the NBA. Same thing with James Harden. He didn't make the rules. That's why the rules changed. That's why they have the landing space rule. That's why they have the kick the leg out rule. That's why they don't call a lot of the jumping into players on pump fakes. Great, I love it because it makes it harder to score. But
do you think the NBA should bring that allow more physicality for defense?
what do you like?
And not even handshaking, just to be allowed to be more physical.
The thing is, a foul's a foul.
Right.
So if you're fouling, call
You
it.
should know, like I feel like people have a good idea, like what is a foul and what isn't.
So the thing is, like hold your hand out. Like you have the ball in your hand. Let's say you're going in for a layup. If I go like this, that's not a foul.
Hand is part of
the ball.
Yeah, hands on the foul.
But put your hand up again. That's a foul.
That's a foul.
Like the Jason Tatum on LeBron thing.
Exactly. That was a foul. It was full, forearm and wrist. But if you would have just, it's not a foul.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
One of the NBA defenders say that like his closeouts now, whenever he closes out, he literally claps the shooter's hand.
Yeah,
It's not a
because
foul.
it's Dylan Brooks. Yeah, he high fives.
He
He
high
did
fives.
it against OKC, and we didn't shoot great. It's a good tactic, and it's playing to the rules. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a foul. Nobody's complaining about it. But if you drive to the lane, or if you shoot a three, and I think there's some guys who do have a natural, like JJ Redick, for example. If he played in today's league, he'd probably get a lot of offensive foul calls because his natural shooting motion is coming off and, you know, going into a fadeaway,
Yeah.
and his leg comes up. Kyle Lowry, same thing, does that a lot.
Kyle Korver did that.
Kyle Korver, even like we've seen, you know, Klay Thompson do it, Ray Allen, like those guys come off screens. It's a motion thing, but it's called as an offensive foul now. Which, do I agree with this sometimes? Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of times where I'm like, that's probably a natural shooting motion?
I think there needs to be some gray area.
You can tell it was like they could really kick their leg.
Exactly.
out.
Like, how would Dirk do that? Because his fadeaways are quite literally,
His leg always came out.
leg always came up. Is that a foul? KD, same thing with KD.
Like that's my thing is like so like Klay Thompson or whoever's coming off a screen and he's going away and he fades away. That's not a foul. That's his shooting motion.
But if the defender makes contact with his leg, do you call it? Do you make the defensive call or do you just let it play?
I think the play.
That's the gray area.
Right.
That's where it comes down to: is the defender jumping towards? Is he straight up?
That's where the rule is.
Is he
defense
in his
from-
landing space?
It's A to B. Defense goes from A to B. They have to go A to A.
Like, let's say this is the shooter. You're coming in. You're coming off a screen. Here comes the off-ball defender coming in. You're fading this way, leg up. The defender's hand straight up. You make contact with your leg. No call.
Let it play.
No call. The defender comes over, hits your legs, and you're like, that's a foul.
Yeah.
And there's people who complain about those calls. Why? Why? Right? And that's what Shea used as advantage is the rules. Because you bump fake, you're in my landing space and I go up, that's a foul. You land in my landing space, that's a foul. That's literally how Kawhi Leonard's San Antonio Spurs career was derailed. Because that's why that rule was put in place. And I agree that it should be a flagrant call at times because you know what you're doing.
I think that's the only time.
Like, if you shoot it and I am getting that close to you to land there, why you're not a good defender then? Why are you doing that? So I seen a thing where the NBA voted on whether or not the offense has like been catered to too much. Do you agree?
To a certain extent, yes.
So not even let's just look back the last 5 years, how much that's changed from James Harden's MVP year to now. How much has it changed, rule-wise, like call-wise?
I mean, there's more calls every game.
I'm saying, like, do you think the refs are calling more than they were in that James Harden MVP era when he was, you know, he would come down, that was some of the worst basketball I've seen, when he would come down the lane and a defender is like this and he would hook under the arm and shoot that's an offensive foul, if anything. How is that a defensive foul? Your hands are straight up. We've seen the Lakers do it. They play defense with their hands behind their back to make a point. And somehow they still got a foul call on them. Like, that's not a foul. If anything, that's a no call. And so how much has it changed since then?
It's just, I think it's changed to just the point that they call it the slightest bit of contact in an offensive player, like on a drive or a rebound or like a help defense on a pick and roll. It really is the slightest contact they call it.
And I don't agree. And like that,
I don't either.
There was that clip of
You're limiting the best defenders in the league should be allowed to do what they do best.
but I do think that the refs cater to those pestering vet, really good defenders to they let them get away with more than they do, like a regular NBA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you see Pat Bev, if anything, fouls more than anybody that doesn't get called. And I think that's why you see him complain when it does get called, because he's used to not being called. Because he'll get up in a guy, hand check, push up on him with his hips, move him out the way. Somebody else does that, that's a call.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the NBA needs to figure out what are we going to call a foul and what not, because that's just going to clear the air on everything.
Here's the other thing, is I wish there would be as many calls that don't affect.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like there's so many calls now that don't even affect the play.
They call so many off, just like random off ball.
I think
fouls.
moving
Yeah.
screens are basically have made their way out of the NBA. That hasn't been a call since
They really don't
since
call it.
2014 because the
They call 3
Warriors,
seconds in the lane more than they call an illegal screen.
which I think defensive three. We talked about this the other night. I think defensive three in the key is a great rule.
Yeah.
I think that should be implemented everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe not like junior high, but high school and up, yeah. Because how many times do we see high schools throw out a horrible defender that's, let's tall for high school, like 6'7", 6'6", and just have him sit in the middle of the paint. There's nothing you can do because, like, that's horrible. Like, that's not basketball. That's sitting and watching. Like, that shouldn't be your rule. You want to run zone? Great. Run a 1-2-2. Run a 3-2.
I'd rather you run a point zone than just sit there.
A 2-3 is like useless.
Yeah.
Like, you're putting a bad defender down there, and I've seen so many players get hurt playing against 2-3 defense because that guy just stands there. Like you coming in down the lane shooting a layup, you don't know what's going to happen. So in the NBA, I think that's a great rule because it makes you play defense. It makes the game competitive. It makes the game move. I don't agree with it not being a rule at every level. It definitely should be in college.
It's really pretty to watch guys that play defense really well. Guys like Porzingis, AD, Giannis,
Jaren.
Lopez, Jaren, Chet,
Bam.
Wemby, like all these really good shot blockers that play really good low defense and can come over across the lane, block a shot. It's like one of the more underrated things in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it makes them earn it more.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you be a good defender instead of just sitting. Imagine if there was no defensive three in the key and you could just sit Wemby in the middle of the paint for 48 minutes.
Wemby not moving.
Why would you?
Right.
Imagine running a 2-3 defense in the NBA and you just got Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", with a 7'8" wingspan, just sitting there the whole game.
And that's why they have the rule, just because like the way they make it's a business thing. The way they make money is offense. They don't count about defense. So if they don't have the defensive three and all they do is that, they're not going to score offense. Well, then that's boring.
Yeah.
Now, on the opposite side of that, in college hoops, we were talking about this before we started. I feel like college basketball, defensive-wise, I feel like I like watching college basketball more than
I
do
love watching the
NBA.
rotations. The rotations are amazing and they're
Because they-
zone and man off.
They fly around the floor.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Baylor against Gonzaga in the championship like 2 years ago. That was a defensive clinic. What Baylor that whole year was a defensive clinic.
Yeah.
Watching them just fly around and rotate every year, senior year or every day. Coach Gary had to pull up a Baylor clip and was like, "This is what we need to be." Like watching it happen live was just crazy because you never like kind of pay attention to that stuff, but they make you pay attention. And
you see that at points in the NBA, but you don't see it a full 48 minutes like you do in college.
like Jason Kidd is really good at defensive rotations. Probably one of the best in the NBA. Like besides like Mark D and probably Ime Udoka. Like those guys are defensive coaches, honestly. And Monty Williams was a good defensive coach for the Suns, but obviously not working with the Pistons. But those are guys that know how to rotate and run a defense. I think there needs to be more of that in the NBA because people are scoring too much. I think it does favor the offense too much. Yes, everybody's getting better, so defense has to catch
I
up.
heard someone say that this is the best that defense has ever been.
Didn't somebody just put up like 145 points the other night?
Well, the Clippers and Kings did it last year.
Last year, they both outscored like over 170.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I would much rather, and I don't know if this is crazy. I would much rather watch like a 80 or 90 point game that's close.
Well,
Like
who
2 or
was
3
it that
points.
recently they just did that?
The Knicks in Philly.
Yeah.
Really.
I would
Yes.
rather watch. Well, that game was bad shooting, but
There
there
was
wasn't
also-
much defense. That was just poor shooting.
Yeah, both teams had a lot of injured players.
But like, I would rather watch like the 80 to 90 point games that are like good shooting but good defense
Yeah.
than the 125
I agree.
130 point games.
I agree.
Because it gets boring. It gets boring to watch some NBA games. Like there's excitement on offense sometimes with a good play, but like I like watching a guy get a snatch block or a good steal. Like I like watching when OKC rotates and they get a crazy stop and then to go down and get a bucket. Like the momentum is insane, and that's an important part of the game. So I do agree with the league kind of touching on the offense getting a lot of favorable calls, and there are guys who abuse it. James Harden being one of them 5 years ago. Luka probably abuses it. Joel Embiid I'm not saying that he doesn't get fouled because he definitely does. He's 7 foot. What else are you gonna do? But
It is just the same
that
thing every
game,
time.
that game against the Raptors, I'm pretty sure it was. He literally caught it in the short corner and just went like this, and they called a foul. Nobody touched him. They called the foul though, and it's just you. And then he would dribble down, and he chest bumps and then just falls and shoots it, and they get the foul. That's good defense. If you're bodying up and holding somebody up, that's not a foul. You're in legal guarding position just because they bumped off and fell and shot it. The NBA needs to figure out their repping system because so many bad calls have been made this year. Technical foul calls that have been ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
The Josh Hart one.
Yes.
So on the technical foul part, do you agree with the take fouls being a takeover? It's like the take fouls
And they get a shot, yeah.
and the what's the other one?
Clear path, yeah.
No.
That's the take foul.
Flopping.
So I like it, but I don't like how it's called. I don't like how they don't do it to the next possession because it interrupts the play. If you're going to call it in the possession because you can either call a tech or you can call a charge, or you can call a block. Either way, it's going to stop the game, right? Or a no call because most players get fined afterwards anyways. So what's the point of calling a tech a minute after the play already happened?
That's what I'm saying. Like if they're gonna be fined and all that, why call it that? Just call them for a block. Or just call them for a block.
Yeah, and they get fined afterwards. Like, what's the point of giving somebody a tech? Like, yeah, it does enforce it, but just call it in the moment.
Right. And it slows the game down.
I've seen it. We've seen it happen against the Clippers. Thunder got one against the Clippers that time.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was Lou Dort.
It was Dort.
Yeah, got one off a moving screen.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of those aren't flopped because if you're running full speed and you have a 260-pound center slide over and hit you, it's gonna take a hurt too. So, and the hanging on the rim thing, sometimes I think I agree with the rule. You get to get back on defense, but at the same time, like there's guys that hang on the rim for 2 seconds to get to you. It's happening to Jason Tatum a lot. But like if you dunk it and you're doing a pull up, like it's not necessary.
But sometimes you gotta hold on.
That's what I'm saying because there's nobody under you.
Get your legs taken out.
Yeah, like there's many times, but Jason Tatum has been called for it so many times. I think he just does it because there's many times he just does a pull up and then gets called for it. Like Paul George used to get called for dunking and slapping the backboard. Like those are things that I think they could definitely lighten up on. But if you're just sitting there hanging on the rim for no reason, you're gonna get tech. But like there's sometimes like there's 2 defenders under you. Why would I drop down?
Because there's sometimes, at least, and then he's done it this year. Like LeBron will sometimes defense breaks down, he gets a wide open dunk on the block, he'll go up, slam it, and but in the same motion he'll reach over, slap the glass, and then go back on defense. But it's not like he's swinging around the rim and then goes back and slaps it. He goes up, dunks, slaps a little, then goes off.
I don't see a problem with that.
Right.
Like the NBA needs more. Like celebration should be a part of the game. So many players get teed up for just staring at somebody. Why? What's it causing?
When mean mugging become mean mugging is against
I
the
can
rules.
see like somebody getting dunked on. You just walk over them. I guess it's yeah.
You remember when Brayden Bingham did that in the Lakers?
Yeah. And like you should be allowed to show emotion in the NBA.
Yes.
These are grown men playing for millions of dollars. Why can't they show emotion? Playing on the highest level
That you can play at.
Playing for an NBA championship.
Same thing in football. They don't allow it in football. I mean,
It's the same thing in college sports too. Like in college baseball, they took away everything. Like you can't backflip, you can't use props or nothing. You have to.
You can't backflip in college baseball
You,
anymore?
like there was a kid from Florida.
You can't do anything.
That well, actually, the pitcher struck out 3 straight batters with the bases loaded. Okay, he comes off celebrating, they toss him. The first AB in the next inning, guy hits a leadoff home run to take the lead. He bat flips, they toss him.
You can't do anything these days. In high school basketball, it's the worst. Like
Yeah, you can't do nothing.
you can't do
You
anything.
can't do anything. You just have to hit and run. Like that's what I'm saying though. Like they're college kids playing a game.
Playing for a scholarship.
I remember when Jaren Jones hit a home run a couple years ago. Last year they went to state, and he grittied from third base to the home, and the other team's parents were so mad, and like the uncle had to stop the game and yelled at Jared for it. I was like, really? Like this is you can't let the kids have fun.
So I'm saying NBA basketball. Like if I'm an NBA player and I dunk on somebody,
I'm
gonna flex.
we'd get arrested and put jail time and stuff we celebrate with and pick up
That's what
sometimes.
I'm saying. Like what is it hurting by letting NBA players celebrate?
The only thing it's hurting is the people that watch. But I mean,
That's viewership has gone down every year in the NBA.
Wonder why.
And because there's no entertainment factor anymore. The entertainment factor they're trying to do is outside of the NBA, not in the game. Like, let players celebrate. Let players, slap the back. Like, I can't believe it. Like, they get teed up for the most random
The
things.
NFL is the no fun league. I don't know what you call it. NBA.
No bullshit association.
No bullshit.
I don't know what else to put. But it's ridiculous, and like Joel Embiid, okay, he definitely should get teed up when he does his 3 pump celebration. Like, come on, 3 pumps is a flag. That Key and Peele sketch, but like he definitely should get teed up for that. It's a little over the top. I can see why, but like. Still, like, you can't. Whoever it was, I think it would have been like Miles Bridges, and they got a dunk and flex afterwards, and they teed him up. Why? What is he doing wrong?
and like at that point, like their biggest thing is speeding the game up, but they're slowing the game down.
Yeah.
Like even with like the clear pass stuff, they were doing it because the fouls were taking excitement away from the fans by like dunks and stuff.
The league's taking excitement away.
But at that point, once you do the clear path out, you're slowing the game down and stopping the play.
And you get a technical free throw off of it.
Yeah.
It's just
You don't get your 2 points for the dunk. You get 1 free throw.
there's a lot of things I would change in the rule wise, like not even rule, just lenience wise. Like I would love to experience an early 2000s games where players were not just fighting, but being emotional and being able to get away with it, getting a dunk, ripping the jersey back and celebrating. Like Baron Davis had that poster, he lifted his jersey up. They would get banned in the NBA for doing that today. Imagine LeBron dunking and just pulling his shirt, pulling his jersey up and stuff.
He might get away with that.
They would ridicule him. That's crazy how much it's changed. And people ratings were way higher then. What we talked about, the most viewed NBA Finals was the 1980 NBA Finals. I wonder why. They were allowed to do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that players have free will, but let them have some fun.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. It's an entertainment league at the end of the day.
Yep.
We want to see NBA players celebrate because we're celebrating at home. I don't understand it, but yeah, speaking of Joel Embiid, we touched on him kind of foul baiting, him being injured earlier. We talked about that. Where are the Sixers trending to right now?
I don't think there's any rule that he leaves, at least in the trade, because I don't know what NBA teams can give up everything for a 30-year-old injury-plagued center.
You can say he's an injury plague, but
Hasn't won anything has choked in the playoffs.
But I'm saying, injury plague, yes, but when he is playing,
He's unbelievable.
That's what if
40 points a game in December was insane. If he was healthy right now, he'd be the undisputed MVP. So I'm saying, who wouldn't want him? I don't think his trade value or anything his value has decreased at all with this injury. I think people would still love to have Joel Embiid, but I could see the Sixers blowing it up and building around Tyrese Maxey. That's what I'm saying.
Is Tyrese trending to that same level of AI?
In Philadelphia, I don't think anybody can ever in Philadelphia ever come.
you know how Jalen Brunson's been playing,
Yeah.
it's basically that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in Philadelphia can ever touch what AI brought to that city. No way. But
I think they're if Embiid stays healthy, if they can get Embiid healthy for
You think there's a chance he comes back?
But he was.
I think
Why would he?
this year,
Yeah.
not this year.
Why would he?
Right.
Next year, even if he doesn't play the whole first half, but you need him healthy for the second half in the playoffs,
But the thing
and
is,
that's when they're at their best.
last year, they had a good team. They had, and James Harden, you can't blame. He played good in that first round against the Sixers. Who didn't play good? Joel Embiid. He was also, I think, he got hurt in one of the games. It was wasn't a facial injury.
Yeah.
I feel like he gets a facial injury every year because that year they
He had a concussion.
Didn't the Hawks
Yeah.
game 1 year?
the year the Hawks beat him, he ended up getting hurt, and it's just they can't make it out of the second round. I I don't understand. Like you know what it reminded me of? The Clippers when they had Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul not making out of the second round every single year with a talented roster.
So what do you do with Tobias Harris?
I think you got to move him at this point. They're
He's
paying
good
him,
this year,
but they're
but-
paying him way too much.
He's going to be a free agent this year anyway.
But I'm saying they have like, well, you can look back on the Jimmy Butler.
Every
team.
Haliburton back.
They chose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Even,
Tobias Harris over me?
even not even just looking at how good Jimmy's been now, how good Jimmy was that year.
Yeah.
Why? In what world do you pay Tobias Harris over him?
Yeah,
like
like Jimmy's a better shooter, like offensively and defensively. Jimmy Butler's better than Tobias Harris.
when you look at that, what do you think the Sixers were thinking when they made that decision? Honestly,
I have no idea.
That
Because
they,
it wasn't-
that they weren't going to need a number one or a number two.
it wasn't a locker room issue. Him and Joel Embiid are still great friends. Like him and JJ Redick are great friends because he was on that team, and I think they could have ran it back with that team.
I think it became the issue of who's going to be able to share the ball. Like Joel Embiid's in year one. They still have Ben Simmons at that time, didn't they?
Yeah, and
Like,
he was.
Ben had to have the ball in his
Ben,
hand.
they were still dead determined that Ben Simmons was going to be that guy.
He was though.
Was that guy.
Up until that injury, that back injury,
Right. And then Jimmy Butler. I mean,
and then JJ. Like,
and then they at that point they didn't think they needed him.
but I just can't imagine having to cap room for Jimmy Butler and then choosing Tobias Harris over him. I can see the thought process of not
So
being
here's-
enough ball to go around, but
Here's the question: if Ben Simmons stays the same player, what do you think? If they choose Tobias Harris over Jimmy,
like if Ben Simmons never fell off,
right? Then you have
You better bring Jimmy back.
yeah, I think I don't see a world where you choose Tobias over Jimmy.
I don't see that world either.
I don't understand what Daryl Morey was thinking, but we've known him to be a
No,
crap.
we did Elton.
No, yeah. Murray wasn't there until this past year and a half, or past 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, still, I don't know what was going through there, what thought process was in bringing Tobias in, because his trade value is good. They probably should have made a deal at the deadline for Tobias. He's an expiring contract. You're probably not going to re-sign him. Well, I guess you can't predict Joel Embiid getting hurt.
Yeah.
But they still could have made a move at the deadline. They could have got Dame. They could have made a move for Dame because that's when.
They're going to have cap space this year, too.
Because I seen a 3-team trade with the Sixers, Blazers, and Clippers, and it was to send James to the Clippers, Dame to the Sixers, and then Tobias and Tobias, Batum, and all those other guys that went to Philadelphia all went to Portland. They should have locked that deal down and made it happen, to be honest, because the Sixers would have been amazing.
all three teams would have
It favors all 3 teams. So the Sixers, whatever they were
fell off, wouldn't it?
yeah, the Sixers. I don't know why Daryl Morey didn't make that happen because and then he said we're not trading his heart at all, and then still moved him. And they got Batum, they got Robert Covington. Wasn't there another player?
I don't think they got made the right trade for that one.
I think the Portland trade would have been the best one.
I agree.
And then I think they are the 1 seed with that team. I think they take over the Celtics.
Probably.
And because imagine having to guard Joel Embiid and Damian Lillard and Tyrese Maxey every single night.
And then you got Kelly Oubre, too.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre was a great signing for them.
Been awesome.
Like if Porzingis has to guard Joel, Porzingis ain't gonna last very long because he's gonna foul.
Yeah. The thing with the Sixers is they have Nate Nurse now is a great coach. Last year they didn't have a good coach. It was Doc Rivers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Not a great coach. Hasn't been. He's not a new age coach.
No.
Never will be. And if I'm the Sixers right now, I'm probably looking to move to. Tobias is gonna be a free agent. I'm not gonna bring him back.
No.
Is Batum expiring?
Yeah, I think so. And they're going to have cap space anyway to sign guys anyway. So
I think they have enough cap space for another star.
I think realistically, if
What
you
if they traded for Embiid?
who are they gonna trade? They
They don't have anybody to trade. Everybody's on an expiring deal.
I don't know what their plan is because there's nothing going right for them right now. Besides, Tyrese Maxey is going to be a star in the league.
I think the best thing for Philly is kind of just to wait and see.
They're almost in the same position as Memphis.
Yeah.
and
They kind of just have to
they're not going to have a good pick this year.
No, they were too good early on.
Yeah, I mean, and then, like I said, Joel Embiid's 30. Who knows what injuries are going to stick? Because he's had bad knees his whole career. He's had all kinds of injury issues. I mean, if they're going to move away from him, this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
Because he just came off an MVP season, a potential 2-time MVP season. Like, yeah, he's injured, but who wouldn't want Joel Embiid?
Right.
Honestly, I mean, I would take him on OKC in a heartbeat. Just saying.
He makes every team you look at better.
Yeah, especially on paper, every team gets better.
Golden State.
They need him, but I don't.
What in the hell would they have to? They have to give up Kaminga.
But I don't see that.
Everything.
But I don't know. Daryl Morey is so like stubborn when it comes to trades and things like that. That I think one way to start them in the right direction is him stepping down, or then bringing a new GM, and also building around Tyrese Maxey doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world.
No.
He's
If you choose that route, would you bring? If you chose to build around Maxey and trade Embiid, would you keep?
Tobias?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm going. If I'm the Sixers and I'm building around Tyrese, I'm taking the OKC route. And
I'm going young.
Paul George go team up with Maxey.
apparently, there's 3 East teams who are contending right now for Paul George, not named. Who do you think those 3 teams are? If you just had to, I mean, I don't know.
If I'm Paul George, I'm not going to anybody that was less than 5 seed this year.
Yeah.
In the 3 teams in the East.
I mean, I would go. If I'm PG,
Well, obviously
Miami,
not Boston.
I go to Miami.
I go to Miami with Jimmy.
Miami. What about
Brooklyn.
What about Indianapolis?
I'd go to Indy. That's who I think one of the
Well,
teams is.
Brooklyn's gonna destroy itself this offseason because that's probably the worst. Honestly, Brooklyn might be the worst job to have this offseason.
No coach.
No coach.
Yeah,
GM is horrible.
They said they're going to build around Mikal.
And they can't do it. It's not like Mikal is doing everything he can. It's just not working. That team is just a bunch of guys that just play.
They just hoop.
Yeah, but they have no culture, no coach. I don't know. Paul George probably like Miami.
I can see the 3 teams. One being Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana.
That's Charlotte. If they're getting rid of Miles,
They're too young though.
Yeah, that's you got to make that.
but with
right.
him and LaMelo,
It's still too
There's
young.
potential there, but I don't see Paul. If the Clippers make it happen, he resigns 100%. Like they win it all, or they even make the finals, I bet he resigns. But they anything short of that, making the finals, he's out of here. James Harden's out of here. So realistically, this free agency is going to be a good free agency.
Mhm.
And Paul George in the East. The only ones that stick out to me really is Philadelphia, Indy, and Miami. Because Philadelphia's gonna have the cap space.
Right.
They could make that. That's probably what's gonna happen. If I'm gonna guess, is Paul George to Philly. Because but do you think he betrays Kawhi for Kawhi to sign the extension?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I legit don't know. I don't know if I can answer that. I think he would just do what's good for him.
Yeah, and I think Kawhi understands that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made that decision. He literally went to the Raptors on 1-year deal and
Yeah.
got a ring and he's moved on.
Mhm.
Like, I think he understands that more than anybody. But James Harden's not going to re-sign. I think even if they win it all, I don't think he resigns because if they win it all, his value goes right back up again.
Who would Russ go? Russ just resign?
Maybe I could see him honestly making a return to OKC.
I wanted that at the deadline. That was a rumor at the deadline. I was hoping.
Well, I'm just saying, just like he ain't got to get a bunch of minutes, but just to have him off the bench, and that'd be a great vet. And him and Shea are already pretty close, so that'd just be a good vet presence to have. That'd just be a great vet presence to have for Shea and J-Dub and pretty much everybody on that team and the city of Oklahoma.
Pick and rolls with Shet and him.
When we went to the Thunder game, me and him went to the Clippers Thunder game, and he checked into the game for the first time.
It was standing ovation.
It was
It's
crazy.
been like that since he went to Houston.
Like the city of OKC
Now, KD, complete opposite. But Russ, everybody wants Russ.
and James Harden. James Harden got half boos, half cheers. PG got standing ovation.
Sam Presti, Kevin Durant gets a statue before Russ.
So, no, he doesn't.
He gets his jersey retired.
Why would he?
before
Why?
Russ.
Why would he? Why?
Kevin Durant's a better player.
Look, Russell Westbrook was there longer.
Ooh.
That matters. because when it comes to
Here's the thing: is when
loyalty matters.
When you
comes to-
retire, you have to think of like the fan base because it's gonna
Loyalty.
represent your team.
I agree with that.
Loyalty matters when
I know Russ is going to get it before Kevin Durant.
Loyalty
I don't
matters.
think KD should get his retired.
I think he should get it retired. I think he gets his jersey retired.
I think it's gonna happen, but I think when you think of like the fans and what they think of him, I don't think the fans want it.
The fans wise, yes. What he did in OKC and how he basically, because the first year nobody thought the OKC team was going to work. Like nobody thought Oklahoma was a good market for it. And KD, made it a good market, honestly. And also everything he just did outside of basketball. When the tornado, all those bad tornadoes hit, he was a big advocate for that. And he's definitely going to get a retire. I don't know about a statue for KD. I would say Russ gets a statue and his jersey retired. That's the kind of person. Shea stays here long term. He follows in that same path. Yeah, that's
Collison just hits the jersey.
Collison getting his jersey. He already got his jersey retired. I could see him getting a statue, to be honest,
Just because of
everybody
everybody in Oklahoma loves him.
loves him. Yeah, but
What else we got?
I mean, there's one thing I want to touch on. Back to the one thing I want to add to the Sixers thing. What team could realistically trade for Joel Embiid if they were to do
Realistically.
that? Like both for it to work for both sides. Both sides, get what they want.
I just don't know what team has enough assets to trade for him. To match salary, to try to give something good, promising back, and then draft picks on top of that. What team has all three?
Team that has 2 out of 3 is OKC. Not saying I don't think they would do it, but they have the picks.
But they don't got the money though.
They don't have the money.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is there a team that can realistically do it?
I don't think there is.
How big is Porzingis' contract?
But he has one more year left after this. So he's
It's
expiring.
like 30 million or something
Like
that.
And Drew's gonna sign an extension.
Asset-wise, I think the only 2 teams, like just playing off assets that have enough would be Boston or New York.
New York, yeah. Boston, pick wise, neither one of them can do it.
Pick-wise, though, no.
Because if they get rid of Joel, they're gonna want to build around Maxey, so they're gonna need picks. So maybe the only way I can see it happening is if there's a 3-team deal. I don't know what 3 teams. Obviously the Sixers, but like the other 2, don't know who they could be. But I feel like it's the only way it's going to happen because you can pull picks from one team, pull stars from one team, send Joel to another team. But I just don't. I can't imagine what teams have to give
I
up.
have no idea.
Like if it was OKC, just hypothetically,
Probably
probably.
Houston do it. You think?
They're going to want Sagoon.
They're good. I think they'll give
But
up Sagoon.
would you give up Sengun for Joel if you're in a win now situation?
Are the Rockets good enough with?
Are the Rockets with Embiid? No, they're not.
No.
So
Like hypothetically, let's say OKC went for it. 4 first-round picks.
I give him more.
Well, I'm just saying. So
I would rather give up more first-round picks than.
let's say 5 first-round picks. Probably Josh Giddey.
Giddey, Kenrich.
We're
You
gonna
got to trade
give up
Kenrich
Casey
for
Wallace,
contracts.
Case would be a hard one. I would say Kenrich and Jay Will.
He's so cheap though, and they're not gonna want him.
We're gonna have to give up one of our top.
Probably have to give Usman.
Bye.
Bye. Right.
Sar. Bye.
Well,
Aiden and brother top 3 picks this year.
Top 2.
potentially, yeah.
You're probably gonna do number 1,
Which
honestly.
is Alexander.
Olivier, did I say his name? Or
Olivier. So
yeah,
Olivier.
he said, I'm going to whatever team draft my brother. Nobody cares.
That's like the Antetokounmpo brother.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Never remember that.
Yeah, he said that like a month ago.
Yeah, he just said it.
Yeah, nobody cares where you go. You're gonna play in the G League. It don't matter. Your brother gonna be better player than you are. But pull up. So last couple episodes we did like hot takes at the end. Not hot takes. Start bench cuts to kind of end segment. Try something new. Pull up there's this guy on Instagram. What?
Jack Cote.
Jack what?
Jack Cote.
Jack Cote. He probably would be best friends with Wyatt Hull, for being honest, because they both love the Celtics. Maybe a little too much, but he basically just has the worst takes for the Celtics I've ever heard in my life. Just play the first one.
So I'm going to give you guys my top 10 NBA players with the best chance to become the GOAT. At 10, I have Joel Embiid. At 9, Giannis Antetokounmpo. At 8, Cooper Flag. At 7, Anthony Edwards. At 6, Nikola Jokic. At 5, Luka Doncic. At 4, Victor Wembanyama. At 3, Stephen Curry. At 2, LeBron James. And at 1, Jason Tatum. Michael Jordan will not be the GOAT forever. There's going to come a time when we need to just understand this generation of basketball has more talent, the players are better, and the greatest is yet to come. And by greatest is yet to come, I mean Jason Tatum is yet to come.
So, great potential to become the GOAT. Number 1, Jason Tatum.
No.
Is there a worse take than
No. It's horrible.
Jack Weed?
Jack, what's in the cup? What's in the cup, bro?
Jack, I'm gonna tag you in a couple, mention you a couple times. Maybe you'll see this. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Like, what is it? In what word?
In all respectfulness, you're an idiot.
Like, we went through your page. I hope you're trolling. I hope this is a troll. I don't think it is. There's no way he's just fully confidently saying Embiid, number 10.
Yeah. How about Cooper Flight?
Cooper, but we
He
didn't even touch
hasn't
NBA.
even played college
He's
yet.
never gonna be that. He's still on a college court.
He hasn't even played college yet.
Cooper Flag. Number 6? I think he had him at.
7.
7. Why? Ant.
No Ant on there is.
Jason Tatum.
Ant's on there.
Ant said Ant.
He said,
I like the Sixers.
Yeah. Jason Tatum number 1. You tell. He said LeBron was 2, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying the potential hype, the vice versa, 1 and 2 with Michael and LeBron. Not only is Michael Jordan going to just get bumped out of the top 10, LeBron's not going to be number 1 if Jordan gets bumped out.
I can't even. I have no words.
Let's see another one.
The other one is the Would You Rather. This is the Would You Rather Jason Tatum edition. There's two. There's a part 1 and a part 2. We're gonna play the part 1.
Jason Tatum edition right now.
Donovan Mitchell.
Jason Tatum by 100 miles.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's unbelievable. He's not Jason Tatum. He's going to be remembered as one of the more talented players from this era. Jason Tatum's going to be remembered as the most talented player ever. That's the difference between the two.
Jason Tatum or Kawhi Leonard?
This was a debate 2 years ago. It is no longer a debate.
Huh? What do you mean it's no longer a debate?
Jason Tatum does every single thing in the game of basketball better than Kawhi Leonard.
Whoa. No, he's not a better defender than Kawhi Leonard.
You cannot sit here and tell me you would rather have Kawhi Leonard than Jason Tatum.
Bro, you're just saying because Jason Tatum has a pretty nice
Tatum.
turnaround.
No, he's been the most consistent basketball player over the last 3 years. Of any basketball player, Jason Tatum has been the best. He's been the most consistent. You could say Jokic, fine. I don't like Jokic, but you can say Jokic. Other than that, it's Jason Tatum.
Anthony Edwards or Jason Tatum?
Anthony Edwards is half of the player that Jason Tatum is right now.
You can't even say it with a straight face, bro.
Bro, look at me. This shit is straighter than straight. Let's get into the tougher one.
Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic?
It's time that I make the announcement that we should stop comparing Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic. Luka is not in the conversation of Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum or Kevin Durant?
This was a debate 2 years ago, and it was silenced when the Celtics swept the Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant-led Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant was Jason Tatum until Jason Tatum became Jason Tatum.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
I can't watch. Nah, I'm done. I'm done watching this because
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Kevin Durant was Jason Tatum for Jason Tatum might be the worst thing I have ever heard in my life. I could see there's two that I could see. Donovan Mitchell, Ant, maybe 3, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Because
I think Ant's better than Jason Tatum.
yeah, I'm not saying like he said that. I'm saying it. He said, hold on, listen. No, this is what he said. Anthony Edwards is half of the player
Half.
Jason Tatum is.
What?
What?
Kawhi Leonard and Jason Tatum, right neck and neck. I'll give you that.
Legacy-wise, obviously Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, you're right.
But right now,
I'll give you that.
I would take either one of them. What do you think? He lost me a Shea. Like,
I quit listening to Shea. I mean,
I just can't. Like, he has to be trolling, right?
I hope.
Listen, I'll give it to him. Like Jason Tatum's like
He's
He's
great.
not a bad player.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's
But I
top.
mean-
He's MVP talent.
He hasn't done anything.
And there are a lot of guys that
Not
he
done
did,
anything.
and he hasn't done anything. But he's also he's
Choked.
Yeah, it's
Jack.
he talking to him.
You realize I'm talking to him. There is a stat. Out of all the playoff games Jason Tatum has played in his career, he has shot 40% or less from the field 33% of the time.
Tom Brady has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl than Jason Tatum does hitting a shot.
Yes! My goodness. I'm done.
Yeah, that's.
I have nothing else to say.
Zach, I hope you see this. Maybe don't get mad at. Maybe get mad at him. He's going a little crazy on you. I hope you're trolling for the sake of it all. I don't think you are. You should meet White. He would love you. but a question for the viewers. Who do y'all think is gonna take it home this year? I personally think who I want to take it home is the Clippers. Who do I think is going to take it home is the Nuggets or the Celtics. That's kind of who I'm stuck on. Who do you think is going to take it home? Just one.
I think who I want, probably, obviously I want the Lakers, obviously. But I still think Denver is the team to beat, so I would stick with Denver.
I'm going to say okay.
I want OKC to win it. I don't think they're going to the first year. I think the team beats Boston.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah. So comment down below what y'all think. Also, who do y'all think the MVP is? Love to hear y'all's opinions. Make sure to check out our TikToks. It's at the foul line. Make sure to check out the Instagram, the same, and make sure to like and subscribe. And for the foul line, I'm Connor. Thank you again, Brayden, for coming on. Really, really, really loved it. And this is Wyatt. We'll see you next time.